All right, hey, we're awesome. Okay, welcome to the weekly Alaboom, June 17th, 2015. We have some newcomers here, but we're just going to go over quick introductions. I am Lance Meister, the Undead Viking, coming to you live from Moorhead, Minnesota. I have the ever loquacious and talkative Barry Reynolds.
That's me.
And we have my professional game mule and board game media hanger-on, Keith Collins.
Howdy.
How you been, Barry? Barry, Keith, how you guys been? I mean,
I've been decent enough.
Yeah, pretty good.
All right. Awesome. All right, good deal. Well, we have a couple of people. Hello, Kitty. We have a couple of people that were kind enough to join us tonight to talk board games for a little bit. First, I'll go with we have Jamie and Lauren Cunningham. They are the founders and Grand High Poobahs of Wouldn't It Be Awesome F Games, who just have a recent release. Which is called Transylvania Curses, and I highly suggest you guys check that game out. It's a kind of a throwback to the old monster movie games, monster movies that I used to watch in my dad's basement back on UHF channels, and I enjoy it a great deal. I have a review that is going to be uploaded probably later tonight. But Lauren, Jamie, nice to see you.
Hello.
Thanks for having us.
No problem. So, what's new with you guys?
Well, we just finished fulfilling a Kickstarter worldwide, so that was fun, and it's pretty much done. So that's a huge relief. That was a lot of work, but it was worth it. And
now we're on to working on the next game.
Yeah, we're not quite ready to release information on it, but we're talking to a graphic designer who's pretty much been hired. And we're in negotiations with an artist, so.
Very good. Well, what happened to the artist for your for the first game? You're not going to use the same artist? Who did the art for that game? That was awesome. I love the. It's very moody and very, but it isn't like super dark and like gloomy, if you will. But it has like I don't know. It's kind of it's a weird. How do you even describe it? I mean, you guys could probably describe it better. But the artwork for Transylvania it's very evocative of like horror, but not like grim and gritty horror that people are like usually accustomed to, if you will.
And kind of old feel to it. It's a little bit of a steampunk style thrown in. Yeah, Crystal's amazing, and I think she's working on another game now.
Yeah.
The next game that we do is just going to be a little bit of a different style. So. Yeah. So
her name is Crystal Raimundo, and she's actually out of the Philippines, and she'd only been doing art for 3 years when we hired her. She's self-taught, but yeah, we were looking for a Victorian steampunk kind of style.
And yeah, we found her on DeviantArt, and her style was exactly what we were kind of thinking the game should have. And so the next game is going to be a little bit different style, so we're going to go with a little bit of different type of art.
Yeah, the next game is going to be way different. It is going to be heavily science-themed, and we actually need an artist who knows biology. So. I see.
Oh, very interesting. What's up with the map? And are you guys cartographers, or what's up with the atlas or the giant world map behind you?
That was actually from the Kickstarter. It's still up there. For the first 3 days, I was pinning the pins of our locations of our different backers, and then after about 3 days, I ran out of pins and I quit.
Yeah.
How many people backed that game? I forget the number.
766, I think.
Oh, jeez, that's crazy.
I got the first 300.
Well, no, I mean, but that's awesome too. I mean, that's really cool that it went over. I mean, I remember I totally happened upon the game on Facebook. It was just one of those weird things. I hadn't heard anything about it, and then I happened to see somebody had shared the picture of some of the art, and then that was what grabbed me, and that's when I started following the game. So it made me very happy to see that it got published, and it's cool to if you go on to Miniature Market or something and you actually see that they have copies there for sale. It's kind of neat.
Yeah, it's been selling in Miniature Market.
I mean, it's neater for you.
Yeah, it's awesome
we're
for
very
us.
excited. As
Yeah,
well.
you can actually buy it on Amazon US, Amazon UK, Amazon Canada, Miniature Market, cool stuff.
It's on our website.
On our website. It's for sale everywhere.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'm probably very likes to ask tons of questions about Kickstarter fulfillment, so I'll let him go that route. But Luca
Yes, sir.
from Bored to Death.
How are you?
How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I'm good. It's
I'm well.
Late, it's a bit later here because I'm up in Canada. It's around 10:30 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
first
you
hangout,
and Rodney, Canadians.
No, he's in
You've
my
never
time
done a
zone.
hangout before.
No, it's my
Oh,
first.
okay.
Actually, I don't think I've
Well,
ever
tell
been
us a
on
little
podcast.
bit. Really? No way.
Swear to God.
Really? Well, okay. Well, tell us a little bit about what it is that you do and the Bored to Death stuff and everything like that.
It's just basically a video review site, where we review videos, games on video, and that's basically what I've been doing for the past 6 years. I have over 450 videos done so far, so it's a lot of work though. It's a lot of work. Yeah, you must know that.
Yeah, yeah, I might have an idea of it. What it was. I mean, I'm not going to ask you if you ever get. Everybody always is like the standard questions of is like, oh, well, how'd you decide to start doing videos or whatever?
Yeah.
I just not that we have to retread that, but
Yeah.
So yeah, you've been doing it for quite a while,
Yeah.
and but you're out there trying to publish your own games now, correct?
Yeah, I had one on Kickstarter that was barely successfully funded, Karma Race. That was my first one, and now I'm working on a second one called Street Kings, which is on Kickstarter right now. Yeah, but I don't think the team
And Street Kings
is like a niche market, so I don't think like it's hard to get backers for that theme of game.
The Street Kings thing.
Yeah, the racing, like. Fantasy, I think
racing games
fantasy,
have
zombies and like pirates and all that stuff picks up better backers.
And things about Transylvania movie monsters.
Yeah, those things pick up.
Vampire zombies.
Yeah.
Just put a bunch of minis in it.
So
Yeah.
there you go. Yeah.
I want
throw
to
100 million.
I wanted to make something different, something that maybe spice up people's collections. It's always the same stuff, but I guess people want to stick to Cthulhu and stuff. So.
Well, Cthulhu's not a bad, not horrible, but I understand what you're saying, though. I mean, so yeah, you guys, the Bored to Death site and the videos that's been going on since 2009.
Actually,
and then right, is that?
Yeah, and it's the way it started was actually pretty funny because I professionally do wedding videos, events and stuff like that. And when I bought my first camera, I was just filming us playing games and just to test the camera, see how it works. Then I got a new editing computer, was testing that out for weddings and stuff. And at the same time, I was doing some board game videos. If you go look at my first videos, they're like pretty bad. But that's how I started.
Oh yeah. Yeah, if you ever go back and I always go back and look at my video of a Glory to Rome, where I had to explain how to play Glory to Rome in 10 minutes or less because that's all YouTube would allow me to upload. And but somehow I managed to do it. I look back at that and I'm just I remember I tried to do that video a dozen times before I finally got it under 10 minutes. I was. But yeah, there you go. So
Bored to Death was some of the first videos I watched when I started researching games as I got into this hobby. So I have memories of that when I was actually looking for my second hobby board game to buy. And it's Bored to Death was one of the first ones I stumbled upon.
That's what I want. That's why I do it. To help people and new people get a feel for games, and I try to keep them short so that they can move on to the next one and try to catch more people. And it's tough though. It's tough. Keeping it short is a lot tougher.
Lance doesn't have a problem keeping it short.
Oh, you've been talking to my wife? No. No. I can't. I remember like when I first started doing reviews, and this is I don't get all the old stuff, but I mean, I remember always people would say, it's like, can't you make your reviews short? And I was just like, no, I can't. And so I just didn't. After I tried to make videos under 50 minutes, and I realized it just didn't work. I just said to heck with it, and I just talked until I was bored of talking. So
you should do what you want to do, man. Like there's so many people out there that are always gonna say you should do this, you should do that, you should do this, and just do what you want to do, man.
Words to live by, my friend. Words to live by.
Yeah.
That is excellent advice. So, well, I know you got Street Kings out there, and I know probably, I mean, it's, you got 11 days left. It isn't, it isn't over. Nothing's over, right?
Yeah. But I think I've learned a few things doing this one, so I'm probably gonna have to like try to repost it with a lot more changes to it. But
understandable.
Yeah.
Well, I mean. I remember. I mean, and I don't want to talk about stuff that I'm not trying to pick apart your, because I've never run a Kickstarter. I don't think I'll ever run a Kickstarter. I can't imagine the amount of werewolf it takes to throw your creation out there and let it be judged. It's very like it can be really judged monetarily, like, oh, you suck and you can't get it or something like that. I mean. I can throw up a video and somebody can give me a thumbs down, but that really doesn't affect me really in any way. But I mean, what have you learned? If you fail to fund with this one, I mean,
right.
What do you take away? Let me ask this one: would you cancel it before it fails to fund? I mean, because I've heard both sides of the story. I've heard Kickstarter say it's I'm going to cancel it before it ends. And then it's just like, and then because they don't want the stigma of like a failed campaign, if you will. So and then there's the ones that. Go ahead.
I think it's the I don't know how Kickstarter works, but if you don't cancel and it wasn't funded, I'm not sure if you're allowed to re-put the same project. They're just gonna tell you, well, you can't put it again because it failed, so it's probably going to fail again. But if you cancel it and give them a reason, like you want to change your goal or stuff like that, then they might give you a chance to re-put it up on Kickstarter. I think that's why people cancel it before.
We've seen a number of projects that have, I don't know if they, of course, where it's been the second go-round.
After it's been funded, or after
failed,
and then they redid it.
We just received one about a month ago called Space Movers. It's a really cool little game, and I think it failed the first time, but I don't know if they pulled the plug and then redid it, or if it ran the full. I'm pretty sure Kickstarter will let you repost it.
I mean, they have nothing to lose.
Space Movers is awesome.
Yeah, we're actually having.
You mentioned Space Movers.
We're gonna have dinner with Kevin and April Cox, who made the game. We're gonna have dinner with them at GenCon.
Sweet. I'll have to track you guys down at GenCon as well. Is there? Yeah, I mean, I know Barry's gonna be a stick in the mud and not go to GenCon, but is everybody else going to GenCon? Luca, you gonna go to GenCon?
Yeah, this is gonna be my second time going. Yeah, as media, so. We'll see what we could do.
Ooh, media. Did you get your freshest media badge then as well?
I didn't get anything. I kept sending emails and stuff. They didn't send me anything. I guess I'm gonna pick them up once I get there.
I think they're starting to send out tickets. They'll post on their Facebook page that all the tickets stacked up and ready to go out in the mail.
Oh, nice.
Cool. Oh, nice.
This will be free.
No, Luca. Luca, did you sign up? Did you go to the board game thing and try to get a press badge though? I mean, I'm just curious.
Yeah. I filled up the form and everything there that they send you, and they said okay. Yeah. But I have like Felicia coming and my brother Giancarlo coming, so I have to see if I could get extra badges. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, if you email them directly and just say, hey, like I remember one year I emailed for my wife and I just said, she holds the camera while I do the interviews, so I kind of need her to have a press badge too. They like within 24 hours they had sent they had given her account on the GenCon account press badge like.
Okay.
Literally in 24 hours, so they're pretty cool about that. And then also I remember way back like the first year I ever went, I was waiting in the line to get my press badge because you were one of the first 100 media people to get your press badge because then you get in an hour early than the normal time, which is really nice. I was sitting there waiting in line. There was one guy ahead of me, and he was standing there, and then he had his 2 or 3 buddies with him, and I thought they all had press badges. And then he walked in, and he looked at the lady, and he just said, these guys are my sound guys, and could they get a press badge? And she just literally, I don't know if they still do this, but had them fill out a paper form right there, and she just wrote a press for both of them, at that moment. So who knows if they still do that or not? But I know that guy managed waited until literally the day of and got them. So something to think about. But so Lauren, Jamie, have you been to GenCon before?
Yeah, this will be our third, so we've been twice.
Yep.
Yeah, actually, the first GenCon we went to was what really inspired us to go for a Kickstarter.
Yeah, and start working on that game.
Because we went to a talk about Kickstarters and stuff and talked to a few people, and that kind of just got it going.
Yeah. This year I'm going for Trade Day on Wednesday as an educator, so I'll be there a little bit earlier.
Yeah, we'll be there Wednesday through Sunday.
What's Trade Day? I've never even heard of that.
So they have apparently several sessions on Wednesday that are for educators and librarians and people working using games and game mechanics in education. So I'll be doing that.
Trade Day's pretty cool. It's like she said, you've got the Wednesday events, and so you have some meetings where people have sessions on using games in a classroom, and if you work in a game store, you can get a Trade Day badge. It's a $150 badge versus your normal $80 badge, but you get access to those Trade Day events. They give away some extra swag and some free games at some of those Wednesday events. Plus, Trade Day gets in an hour early, just like press and VIGs.
Well, wait, Tim. Did you say free games at Trade Day? Hello?
Yeah, there are
free swag.
There are a handful of free games usually. Nothing much, but there's a few games.
I had to send proof that I'm actually an educator before they would send me the badge. I had to scan in my card and my student my professor ID, my college ID to get them to send me the badge.
Oh, you couldn't just send a picture of you with some one of those tweed jackets with the elbow patches and a driving cap, or whatever.
You can try that. I can see if that works next year.
Let me know, because I think I can. I think my dad has an old tweed jacket I could wear, and maybe I could finagle that. Well, I mean, since we're talking about GenCon, GenCon is fast approaching. It's weird how quickly it's coming up. It's like I just all of a sudden realized it's like 6 weeks away. I mean, it's right around the corner.
Yeah, we can't wait.
Keith, you're still picking me up at the airport.
Sure.
Yeah, you're still picking me. Okay. And I finally convinced my wife to come. So I told her. I said this: if you like people watching, I said this is prime people watching crowds. So I think I've got her sold on it. That she thinks it's gonna be fun. So be nice. They're
I'll pick her up and just leave you at the airport.
That's nice. Thank you. Give her my press badge.
Yeah, I wouldn't
she can get in.
I wouldn't do it.
No. What kind of car do you drive, just so I know what to look for?
I have a reddish Acadia. So.
I don't even know what that is.
It's one of those mid-size SUV things.
Gotcha.
I will
Fair
park.
enough.
I will park in the garage and come in and wait for you in the airport. Is what I'll do. It'll be easier. That's how I usually.
I'll get you the flight info.
Yep.
Oh,
I picked up Sasquatch last year, so.
You did?
Yep.
All right. Good deal. So let me think here. So anybody played any good games lately? Barry, you played lately?
A pretty decent light game, Cacao, Z-Man game. We actually just got done filming it for this week's video. I finally got my copy of XCOM in, the one that was held up with that other game. So
what was the other game it was held with?
It's just Smersh, the second copy. That came in Monday or Tuesday. So I just put a video up for the chance to win that on the channel yesterday. So other than that, my wife tried to get me to play a game called Poop, and I just looked at the card and I said no. But that's about it. You know.
Well, my new favorite.
Always interesting. Thank you.
My new favorite game is 5 Tribe. I'm kind of hooked on that lately.
How many times have you played it?
4, 5.
All right, and tell me if you still like it on the 6th or 7th try. That was where the exploration for it really died off for me quickly. It just kind of became. It made me feel clever, and I felt like figuring out like the certain I'm gonna collect the meeples here, and then and now though that was worth 17 points, then you kind of smile quietly to yourself about how clever you are, and then you wait for the other person to go, and then but I mean after a while it didn't have any more. I don't know what's looking for here. It didn't have any new twists or turns. I mean, and the thing is that, and I've said this a lot of times, is that a lot of people really like playing a game until they kind of figure it out, and then they like continuing to play it to see how efficient they can be with it and just how many points they can squeeze out of it. And I get that, but that's just not me. I just it's like at a certain I'm like, okay, well I've kind of addressed all news and byways of this game that I can do, and then I kind of move on. And that's why I really like games. I mean, not to kiss your butt, but that's why I like games like Transylvania, because it's because of the fact that I have the player interaction, and I have that thematic story that goes on with the game. I know how the game is played. I know, I'm going to move here, I'm going to pick up a card, it's going to tell me what's going on, I'm going to roll some dice, and I either succeed or fail. There's nothing really left to find, but because of the fact that I'm telling this story and I'm having this experience with everybody else at the table, instead of just, having a victory point engine, I enjoy those games. Those games have much more longevity for me. So there you go.
Well, I know Jamie's favorite one is Alchemist. Her new favorite.
Yeah, that's the new one I like. It's the Alchemist game.
I finally played it. I like it.
What?
I finally played Alchemist, and I think I liked it. I didn't go run out and buy it, but I enjoyed the game I played of it. It wasn't as difficult as I expected based on what everyone had said. I thought the deduction was actually pretty straightforward, but it was a very cool game.
Yeah, I like a lot of the humor.
I just can't get over that. The game is fun and I like it a lot, but I can't admit that I like it because it uses an app. So
You admitted you liked XCOM.
Yeah, I thought you were over that.
I never did that. You show me where I was fine.
Do you want me to pull up your review?
That was a body double. I'm sure.
I'm sure it was.
So.
Has anybody played that without the app, the Alchemist? I can't see that being fun for somebody.
Yeah,
to
I was
sit
like,
there.
it seems like it'd be awfully boring for whoever is the app person who has to sit there and be like, you made this, and then wait until they get to talk again.
Well, even if there's somebody to do it, it's got to be slower than the app. So.
Oh yeah, it's
And
already.
then they give you the wrong information and screw the whole game.
Yeah.
And it's like a 2-hour game anyway, so who wants to sit there for 2 hours and do that?
I like a lot of the humor that they put into it. It's very much like research in many ways. When you're doing something, you're like, oh, let's mix this together, and that happened. Dang it.
And it fits good because me being a former chemist, it pulls on that old history.
All right. Well, I see my partner in crime, Travis, joined us. But before we'll let him talk here, I think now is as good as time as any to have the Barry 15. All right, Barry, take it away.
We're back to this again. All right.
Yes. Yes. This is where Barry gets to ask anybody a question, and he gets to interview our panel. So go ahead, Barry. Knock our socks off.
Okay, Lucas, that law up there in Quebec, is that still in effect where game stores can't sell a game unless they have French language?
Yeah, it's still in effect. Basically, we're not allowed to sell any game if it doesn't exist in French. So we can't have it on the shelf. And if it does exist in French, we have to stock it. And if we sell out of the French version, we have to remove the English from the shelf until we restock the French.
So you can have both. I thought it was you can only have the French. I didn't realize you could have the English as long as you had a French copy.
Yeah, but if it doesn't exist in French, it's kind of like illegal to actually sell it.
What the F?
Yeah.
Is this a real thing? Are you guys lollygagging?
No. It's the Quebec, it's the Law Bill 101, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like some West Germany kind of nonsense going on.
Even my website for my retail store has to be completely French, or else people aren't allowed to buy from it.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you see that changing or no?
Well, we're fighting it, me and my brother, since we're the owners. We're fighting it, and the problem with that is that if we lose, then all the other gaming stores in Quebec are gonna have to follow, and if they do follow, that's gonna be horrible for the industry in Quebec.
Right.
Yeah. And it hurts the gamers as much as it hurts you.
It hurts
insane.
Everybody.
Yeah. Who's it good for?
Hey, Keith, last time I checked, your name wasn't Barry.
Shut up.
All right. Now, you said you don't think your Kickstarter is going to fund. What do you think was the mistake? Was it the presentation, or just the way it was run? Or?
I got a lot of feedback on theme. Like a lot of people didn't like the theme. They're not into cars that much, I guess. The other thing is that I don't have a lot of videos of other reviewers. So I should probably make more prototypes and send them out and stuff like that. Like get a lot of more videos.
Okay.
All right. Those are the two things I could think of.
Did you do any advertising for it on Board Game Geek or other websites?
I only did the Facebook and personal advertisements and stuff like that. The Board Game Geek was pretty expensive, and a lot of people said that it wasn't that worth it. They didn't get a lot of backers from it, so I wasn't too sure if I wanted to invest that much.
Of course, with Kickstarter, it's always really hard to find out where the traffic is coming from, because they can see an ad on Board Game Geek, go to Kickstarter and back it, and you really have no idea where that traffic came from.
Yeah. Now they've added Google Analytics to Kickstarters, so that's cool. You could actually see where they're coming from, and
that's cool.
Yeah.
It's still really. We have a Kickstarter up right now as well, and in our prior Kickstarters, our first one we funded in less than 2 days, and the last one we funded in under 2 hours, and this one is the lowest our funding goal is the lowest, and we're only at like 65%. And this is like day 3. I think part of it is, if this is any consolation, right now, if you actually go and you like cruise Kickstarter and look at a lot of games are limping along. And I'm talking about like staff picks, ones that do have advertising. I don't agree. I was actually just talking to Jamie Stegmaier about this today. Like, the problem is now that Dice Tower doesn't do videos, the main people who do Kickstarter review videos, it's like Lance, Richard Ham is the alpha dog, pretty much. Like, you know, who else do you have? Like Tim Norris, he has less viewers than Lance does, and he has a lot of the same viewers. So a lot of the few people who do Kickstarter previews that are sort of known guys have a lot of the same audience members because there's so few guys that are doing Kickstarter preview videos. So when you're paying 1 or 2 of them, your crossover there is pretty substantial. So we actually just started looking into doing things like written reviews and whatnot, because at least it offers potentially a different type of audience, or coming on a show like this or something, you know, that has an audience. So I don't think you should be beating yourself up about it. I do think that the Kickstarter ads, we actually today BGG got a hold of us and said, hey, because we wanted to do a second takeover. We had one scheduled, but when you have a game that's up and it's got a $19 buy-in and it's, you know, $600 for a takeover, you got to sell a lot of games to break even on that. When you're selling a game like our first game that was $65 and I had 2 little add-ons and most people are spending $85, you don't have to sell as many games. But when you have something that's a quarter of that, man, you have to sell a lot of games just to break even. And it is kind of non-quantifiable, you know. Like the first time we had a Radu video go up, we made $9,000 in 6 hours. But it was the last 3 days of our campaign. So how many of those dollars were because it was the end of the campaign, or Radu? We had a Radu video at the beginning of the campaign. How many of those were from our first fans, or because the campaign just launched, or because we had a homepage takeover? And the thing with the Kickstarter analytics is, Kickstarter is just sitting there going like this, patting themselves on the back, saying, "Look at all the stuff we did for you. We got you this traffic and this traffic and this traffic." So you don't really know where anything's coming from. So I don't know, man. Sorry, it's the Berry 15. I've been talking for 30 minutes.
Actually, I'm surprised you cut it short. No problem. Lauren, how much did Transylvania change from the Kickstarter to the final product?
Oh, from the Kickstarter itself to the final product?
Yeah, like I seen Lance's video on the prototype.
I mean, the materials are quite a bit better now, but the game itself has changed very little. We've added a few extra components, some one-time use powers for each of the individual players that weren't there in the original prototype. I think most of the gameplay is what it was in the demo.
So I guess what was added during the Kickstarter, the variable player power cards, which also allow you to choose your character at the beginning of the game, were added in Kickstarter.
I guess there's a couple extra characters.
We added a few characters during the Kickstarter, and we also, what else? Yeah, component-wise, not a lot.
Right, the game is pretty much the same. It's just, you know.
Event cards. We added some event cards because we had a backer level where, you know, backers could work with us and create an event card. So there's 5 extra event cards, the variable player power cards.
More options for male and female avatars.
Yeah.
There's not as many blank cards with no art on them. But yeah, the main gameplay is pretty much the same that it's in the demo. At least I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always been interested when designers decide, you know, how far along their game is before they put it on Kickstarter. I know most of them are like 95% done, but
yeah, we really wanted to be virtually at 100% when we went on Kickstarter. I don't like the Kickstarters where it's obvious. You know, it's like, well, if we fund, then we'll pay the artist to finish it. You know, we had all the art done except for the characters, which we were always intending to give out to our backers, so we obviously couldn't do that art before the Kickstarter. So all of our characters are Kickstarter backers, or our artist is a character. Jamie's sister is a character because
She's a backer.
yeah, that's right. She is. She did back it. And
Everyone who's
yeah,
on
that's
the
true.
character
She
is a
did back her too. Yeah. So pretty much they're all backers.
Okay. Luca, what made you decide to go with the Kickstarter route instead of a normal publishing route?
I don't know. I guess I'm a little scared of just showing my game to publishers. And if you do a Kickstarter, it's kind of like it's there, it's done. Like the mechanics are there, they're shown. So if a publisher tries to like steal some mechanics or work with it, you could actually like maybe call them out on it and say, that's my game. It's been out there. It's it's been shown. I was just a bit scared of just showing it to publishers. Some people were telling me you shouldn't be scared, but like for some reason, like in the 5 years that I've been doing video reviews, sometimes I get 2 or 3 games that are very, very similar at the same time, and it just seems like there's a lot of discussion between publishers, I guess, or news channels that talk about games, and then after publishers, they pick up on these things and they make their own game. And I was just a bit scared of that, I guess.
Yeah, I actually hear that a lot from newer designers, that they're scared of publishers stealing their ideas or mechanics or whatever. How about you and you, Travis, and were you ever afraid of that?
No, I don't. I don't think that's.
I don't think it's really prevalent in the industry.
Yeah. This industry is so. I worked in TV, movies, and I was a musician forever. And even when people would let you hear new songs, like when I lived in New York, when you'd hear like the new album, sometimes a producer would make you sign an NDA for listening to something. Like you were going to run out and steal like a Britney Spears single or something no one had heard yet. Ridiculousness. But this, when I lived in New York, I used to go over to Zev's house and like play stuff. He'd just show you the world. Like, he'd show you everything. They were considering games that ended up going on to be bestsellers. It was like all laid out on the table, and vice versa. Like those guys would come to some of the publishers would come to New York, the New York Game Design Group, and on occasion, or they would send out an email saying, "Hey, has anybody got anything good?" And I'd never once heard of or been afraid of. Even just we were at Origins, we came home with like 6 games. Where like, we came home with a game. I'm not kidding you. This kid like took deck building and like turned it on its head. I've never seen what this guy's done. Crazy. Like it was like he handed me the cure to cancer or something, but in the terms of gamers, not as morbid as that. And he's just like, here, take it. And we took it, and obviously we took it in good faith. We've been communicating with him and emailing with him, and I don't know. I don't think that everything's really done with a handshake in this industry. It's very, very trustworthy.
Maybe I could send you a copy.
Well, yeah. Go ahead. I think the thing about I've had a game published, and I've put out now a couple games on my own. This is our 3rd one, and I would much rather put out my own games than go through a publisher. It's if you're lucky enough to get, I actually had Z-Man wanted to publish my my first game, and I said no because they took so long for it to. It was like 4 or 5 months that they were considering it, and then another publisher came along. Mercury Games, which was much smaller, and I went with them just because they played it once and they knew they liked it, and they were ready to send me a contract after, one playthrough. And then, from my understanding with Z-Man, it's like it made it past Zev. It was going to go up to the upper echelon, but once it came out of that, it might not have been the same. Like the artwork would have changed, and I had already paid for all the artwork, and the artwork was really good. The name was going to probably change. The theme might even change. And I'm like, well, what the hell's the point? Like, I went through all this trouble. It's like I don't want my game to be about fancy business dinners whenever I went through all this like trouble to make it this really cool theme and put all of my heart and soul into it. In hindsight, now, I probably, if that opportunity came along again, I probably would just move it along, because I do think if a big publisher is interested in your game, they would know how to transmogrify it to make it where it would sell at least. And if your intention is to keep making games, what's the harm in having a game that's out there that might do well, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I know other designers. Tortuga went through some changes, and there's a couple others that went through some changes, and the designers weren't too happy with it. But
our next Kickstarter is our first game that's an outside designer, and the game was awesome originally, but the theme stunk. It was just boring. Like you're in an ancient city, like thieves of Baghdad. Nothing like thematically. It made no sense. And I had to kind of go into a meditative trance to figure out how the hell I would turn this into something that made any sort of thematic sense. And then we ended up So what started off was you are thieves in Baghdad stealing magical items that include a turban and a camel, magical camels. It became you are crappy animals that want to become ninjas, so you're going to the equivalent of a kid's summer camp to train to become master animal ninjas. So kind of like a Kung Fu Panda kind of thing. And the new theme makes total sense when you play the game. So, this is an example where maybe a publisher, I guess I'm kind of saying that I did a better job than he did at dreaming up the theme, but at least it came out the other end, and everyone we've shown it to has really enjoyed it and liked it, and so sometimes a publisher can help you with that stuff. But I don't think publishers steal. I do agree that if someone sees a game like say something like Mysterium that just kind of came out of left field, a lot of publishers just go, how the hell can we make a game like that, and how can we make it as quick as possible? And then you'll see a glut of these kind of games sort of coming out of nowhere around the same time. But I think that's more to do with people trying to hop on the bandwagon and make some money on a trend.
Like co-ops, I think co-ops are becoming a huge trend now, and I'm seeing a lot of those popping up. So.
Well, co-ops, they started in 2008 was when they started kind of coming out of the woodwork. But they're one of the biggest market shares in Kickstarter. Yeah. Like miniatures, custom dice, co-op play. Those are all big market shares.
Zombie and Cthulhu.
Yeah. Zombies, being thieves in ancient Baghdad, those are all huge.
All right. Now,
you have 3 minutes left on your very 15. So.
Earlier, I thought Travis talked to 30 that way. Damn it! All right. So. I can't remember Lauren's husband's name. What's
what? Lauren and Jamie? What?
Jamie. Okay, couldn't remember the name.
Yeah. Jamie had to check out our daughter's movie just ended. She'll be back in a minute.
Ooh, what movie is she watching?
She was watching Sleeping Beauty.
Classic. Okay.
Yeah, the classic. She turns 4 on Monday.
Well, see, I'm a horrible father. When my daughter was 4 or 5, her favorite movie was Cabin in the Woods. So,
you are a horrible father.
And I'm not even joking. So,
so is Transylvania your first game published?
Yeah, that's the first game we published. It's probably maybe the 5th one that we tried to make. The rest of them were just for our friends and whatnot. And yeah, Transylvania was the first one that we decided to try to publish.
What were some of the challenges you faced, throughout the whole thing, the Kickstarter design and all that? Yeah.
Man, it was
when we originally decided to Kickstart it. We're like, yeah, we'll do a little bit of art and we'll throw it up on Kickstarter. And then we were at a convention and the guys from Greater Than Games out of St. Louis are like, no,
yeah.
You need to promote this and. You have a Facebook page for it. You have a Twitter for it. Like, have you done this? And we're like, no, we haven't done any of that.
Yeah.
It's like, you need to do your research and do this right. So
yes.
A lot of it was just like really learning the whole process.
Yeah. So Christopher Bedell from Greater Than Games and Sentinels of the Multiverse took a look at our prototype, and he said, yeah, I think this would do well on Kickstarter. But he found out how little we had done. And he was like, no. I think he was the one who turned us on to Jamie Stegmaier's blog. Maybe you found that in Google. So we got turned on to Jamie Stegmaier's blog, and we talked to Christopher. And actually, the guys from Greater Games helped us. And so we established a Twitter and a Facebook, and we spent 9 months kind of just building an audience, for the game. and we decided to finish the art. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a long road, like with a lot of learning.
And then learning how to do a Kickstarter. I mean, my God, I actually read Jamie Stegmaier's blog 3 times, word for word, including every single note, like under some of the
comments.
Yeah, all the comments and the discussion, and you know.
And then we were like contacting the people who were like discussing it. Like, wait a minute, what did you mean by that? Like, can we get more information on this?
Yeah, and figuring out how to set up the shipping was by far the most complicated thing.
Yeah. So yeah, we figure we have to do a couple more Kickstarters so that we, you know, use all this new information that we now have gained from this process.
Yeah, I hear from a lot of guys doing the Kickstarter that shipping is what kills them, especially international, you know, European.
But we made it EU friendly, and we ended up using Amazon in the US, UK, and Canada. And then we used USPS for everything outside of that area, which wasn't too much.
You almost don't want people in other countries to back. It's like Australia. It's like a character from Mad Max is stealing your wallet. You make like,
Australia.
Yeah, you make like 20 cents. There's we have the service that helps us coordinate all of our freighting. From China actually now does fulfillment to places like Australia. We had like Asia, and we actually use them for our UK fulfillment. We used Spiral Galaxy before. We can't pay those guys. We've been trying to pay them for like a year and a half, and every time they're like, "Hey, we're gonna send you a bill," and then they'll send us an email being like, "Hey, did we send you a bill yet?" And we're like, "No, can we pay you? You've got like $7,000 sitting in a savings account that's yours, and it's." Thank God you haven't taken it because we've gotten interest on it. Yeah, we messed up with our fulfillment. We actually, my partner thought that we could do Canadian fulfillment in the U.S. and he didn't read media mail. So the only thing we screwed up on our first Kickstarter was our Canadian backers got stuff like 6 weeks later, and incidentally, Greater Than Games was the ones who helped bail us out of that. They ended up doing all of our Canadian, and we had to go with the devil that is Game Salute for our international stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we looked into Game Salute.
Yeah.
And ended up going with Amazon.
I kind of admire Game Salute in like a twisted way, though.
That they're still in existence,
well, like,
even though it's apparently everybody on God's green earth hates them with every fiber of their being for one reason or the other. Yet they just still trudge along, still maintaining, still putting games out, still publishing games, still having successful Kickstarters. So it's just yeah.
Did any of you guys go to BGG Con last year?
I did.
Did you see Dan Yarrington and his Stetson hat and his
cowboy hat and his vest?
Yes.
And his bolo tie. That's what he wears every single
and
time.
His Captain America bolo tie.
He didn't used to wear the hat. The hat's new.
Yeah. He's a okay guy. I mean, like he's like a nice guy to talk to because he's so clearly a capitalist that like you sort of have like a. If you just be like, look, dude, I know what you're about, like, he'll just go, all right. He's got, like, this raspy voice, and he'll just sort of shoot from the hip when he's talking to you in this very brutal, monetary-based way. But I don't know. Yeah, we went with them. We were considering using them again because if you do everything through them, it's actually somewhat cost-effective. But, yeah, the shipping is a nightmare. Our game weighs 4 pounds and 5 ounces. If it weighed only 4 pounds, that extra 5 ounces put us into the next shipping tier. We would have saved like $22,000 in shipping.
Oh, wow.
Almost send it in a box.
Huh?
Put it in a little baggie.
Have you ever picked up a copy of Heroes Wanted? It's like a friggin' brick. There's like no air in that box. It's completely packed. If you sleeve those cards, you need like a coffin to put all this stuff in. It's ridiculous. And then we just released an expansion. Keith was talking about it. Keith, you're going to get everything in the same box? You think you can do it? You're going to fold space and time like in Dune?
Go to do it. Go to get it in one box.
I don't
The
think
box may be open this far, but I'm gonna get it.
I'm gonna make sure the next expansion makes you have like a stroke whenever you try to put it in there.
Yeah, I forgot how small the box actually was until I saw it. I'm like, oh yeah, that box is not huge. So I'm not gonna argue with you.
Yeah. Lance, why can't we see you? Are you naked?
Don't ask that.
I just don't have any lights on.
He's got a beard.
He's taking a nap.
Is this better? There.
Are you doing like some? Are you doing some like Silence of the Lambs dance right now in front of the computer? And we just can't see you.
No, what's that song? I can't remember the name of the song.
Goodbye horses. Goodbye horses by Q Lazarus.
There you go. Only you would know that
I used
because
to DJ that song.
because you touch yourself when you watch that scene. That's why.
I used to be a DJ, but yeah, the other thing too.
Yeah. A DJ to a party of one, perhaps.
Yeah, or in New York City and did it for 7 years, and that was my job. Speaking of which, Keith, Jesus Christ, look at your face right now. Oh, murder face.
Murder face, Johnson. No.
So what's the topic tonight? I'm sorry, I was asleep. Me and my daughter went to bed early.
There hasn't really been a topic. This has been like I had several people ask if they could. I offered, and several people asked if they could be part of the Alaboom this week. So I just said, and I see Larry from Spellforge Games is slowly but surely somehow maybe going to be joining us here very shortly.
Larry's here.
Oh, Larry is here? I got no picture of you, though, buddy.
Yeah, I know. I'm working on this webcam, man. I had to dust it off. Give me a second.
So it must be really, really top of the line then, Larry.
Oh, it's like a $6,000 webcam. It's crazy, man. I'm just so hideous. I don't want anyone to see me. That's what it is.
It is kind of, well, there's been like there's several people that say like they do these Google Hangouts. They don't use the video because it eats up so much bandwidth. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, that's the reason. Sure. All right, hold on. I think we're going online.
The disembodied voice is pretty crazy though for Larry.
Yeah, I'm just floating, man. It should be happening, man. I don't know what's up.
It's like Tom Waits is joining us.
I'll sing a song here in a second.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead and sing. I don't want to grow up. Get the ukulele out.
So
Tom Waits was maybe it wasn't a really great movie by any means, but it was like Seven Psychopaths or something like that.
Yeah.
But Tom Waits had a good role in that movie.
What about Mystery Men?
No.
He was in Mystery Men. Remember, he was the scientist that only made non-lethal weapons.
Oh yeah, that's right. And then he was, and then Tom Waits, of course, he was excellent in Coppola's Dracula as what's his face? I can't think of the name. Renfield.
Renfield, yeah.
There you go. But there's Larry.
Yeah, we made it. What's up, guys?
Well, you really are here.
It's true. It's crazy. I'm like a cave troll, man.
Well, who the hell are you?
I do. My side thing is I do bodybuilding and fitness consultation. I'm weird when it comes to the gaming industry, man.
Are you in like Dexter's Kill Room? What's this weird sheet behind you?
Yeah, I got my apron on, man. So my day job is like internet marketing, web design. So I have meetings with clients all the time, and I don't want them to see my pictures and stuff in the background. So if you have a meeting with a client and they're like in a suit and tie and stuff, and then they see like an X-Man poster in the back, I don't think they get it. That's all right.
That's fair. All right, so just for those of you, for the people that are here, this is Larry obviously from Spellforge Games. Larry's got a game. I'm horrible. I haven't checked on
It is a game.
Well, it is a game, yes. But I mean, as far as the funding, how's the funding going for? You know what? I'll just look it up right now. I'll pretend that I've been looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I'll
okay.
act like I'm looking it up, and then you can jump in.
You're just a little under 10 grand right
now.
now.
We're like 38%.
Yeah, you're just under 10 grand.
We had a pretty strong start. Yeah.
Okay.
It's our first campaign. We're not doing too bad out the door. We're trying to gather some momentum, but yeah, it's things are going, man. I guess that's kind of how it goes.
Give me the 2-minute rundown of Foe Hunters.
Sure. So Foe Hunters is like a co-op fantasy adventure deck building game. So think like Sentinels of the Multiverse meets like D&D, but with kind of a deck building thing. So each player takes the role of a hero, and they're all fighting collectively against like a powerful foe. There's a deck building mechanic. You don't spend cards to buy cards. Each hero has like an XP pool they accrue, and they can spend that XP to buy cards, and the cards go directly to their hand, and they can play those cards whenever. And the engine for the game is really watertight. Like it's very simple mechanically. The actions you do and what you can do during your turn, you're kind of restricted by actions. You have a ton of options, but your actions are pretty limited. So it adds a lot of that strategic element and strategic co-op play. But it's a full co-op game. There's no like victory points or anything like that. We've had a good response. People seem to like the game, so we're just pushing along, man. That's where we're at.
Yeah, I did a video for it a little bit ago. The part that I liked the most was that it wasn't Pathfinder the card game, which was a pile of crap. So
No comment.
So it was a fantasy co-op card game that was actually fun, and it actually thematically made sense instead of me being on a rope bridge and then finding I'm being attacked by a pit trap. I'm like, what?
It's like a gelatinous cube rolls up on the rope bridge. And
a gelatinous cube has entered the tavern, and now I need. Just like what? You're not even trying at this point. I just, I won't.
Yeah, some cool stuff.
I still get about one comment or one email a month or so telling me how stupid I am for not liking the Pathfinder card game.
So, you see that's good. I get it like almost every day.
Lance, have you seen the Warhammer Quest game that's coming out?
They're not going to do Warhammer Quest. You're lying.
I played it.
Spoiler.
Yeah. No.
You okay? So they're going to reprint Warhammer Quest.
No, it's a game. It's a card game version of it.
Well,
I think that's what it's called.
Excuse my language, but F that noise, because don't even talk to me about Warhammer Quest until the actual board game comes back. I am still upset at my old friend Dennis, who left town when I was like 19 years old and took all of my Warhammer Quest stuff with him, and I've never been able to. And I was like, with all the expansion and everything, I was like 90% complete on my Warhammer Quest collection. And yeah, it was like I made the mistake of leaving it at his house, and then all of a sudden he up and left town in the middle of the night pretty much and took all my Warhammer Quest stuff with him.
That's rough, man.
Yeah.
Are you talking about Conquest, right? Warhammer Conquest, is that the game you're talking about?
I think that's what I'm thinking.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
just another stupid freaking
It's
living card game. Whatever. It's an excuse to get people to pay $10 a month.
I'm not talking about Warhammer Conquest. I'm talking about something else that's not actually. I shouldn't be. I just am talking to the designer, and I shouldn't be talking about it at all. So scratch that. I'll talk to you about it.
Sign some NDAs. Yeah.
And now they're gonna get you. They're gonna find you.
I'll have to purge this from the record.
I don't understand why is it so hard for companies to, especially now with Kickstarter, to just put something that was really good, just reprint it or put it back up, like Space Hulk or whatever it was like really in demand, Hero Quest, all that stuff. Can't they just put it back up and
I can't afford a license.
get millions for it or something?
Well,
The license expires, and then if it's popular, the person who's the original license holder is going to rake a publisher over the coals, man.
Well, yeah, but doesn't they own like Space Hulk? I mean, they could come up with a version of Space Hulk every year if they wanted to, and there's nothing that prevents them from doing that.
Yeah.
Whoa, what was that? Like a sex robot?
Hey! What
Everybody.
Child.
Oh, hello. Travis, you go sit in the corner. You've been muted.
I was
Yeah. Rein it in. I feel like we should have an alert that flashes on the screen that says there's a child nearby.
Yeah, you can't say that stuff, man.
You can be ended. All right,
Alert.
I'm going to put this one to bed.
Oh, he wants a hug from Daddy. Like, oh, that's precious.
So, Larry, you're just about an hour away from me. So
Where you at, man? Where you at?
I'm in Seymour, Indiana. So
Okay.
about an hour.
There you go.
So
Yeah.
where's your game store in Louisville? So when I hit Louisville, where do I go to buy games?
So usually I go to Something to Do. They've been in town for 45. I'm really big on supporting like local places and
Yeah, they just
small
moved, right?
places. They just moved, yeah. So they're on Hurstbourne, right by Shelbyville Road. So if you're familiar with that area at all, that's right around there. But that's usually where I play out of and do a lot of demos out of. I sometimes go to Bluegrass Magic down in the South End too. So it just depends on when I have time. I live out kind of close to Something to Do, so it's just easy for me to get out there, and I tend to be pretty busy, so I don't have a ton of extra time, but that's usually where I go. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, if you're ever in town, shoot me an email or something, we can connect, and I'm always down to hang out and do stuff, man.
Cool.
Talk games or whatever. That'll be cool. Now everyone's quiet.
Everyone's I
Am I
love
mesmerizing or what?
No,
Like,
I just like every once in a while I love living the quiet, like go, just to see if anybody.
wait for someone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Scott's here.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, look, everybody! It's the multi-billion-dollar man himself, Scott Alden.
multi.
I tried to come on last week, guys, but my computer died right as I.
Oh, that was funny.
That was hilarious.
It was
weird.
I actually took a picture of I've never crashed a computer that hard, and I've been in the business a long time.
Not even when you're deep webbing and you need to immediately.
You're in the onion. You're in the peels there, son.
What's deep webbing?
You don't want to know. Don't Google
what's
it.
Deep webbing?
Yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
If you Google it, you're gonna have a black bag over your head tonight. So just.
Can I just apologize really quickly to Lauren and his family for assuming that their child was a computer malfunction? I'm so sorry.
No worries.
I have a 1-year-old, and if someone said that to my kid, I would probably fine them. So, apologies.
I'd find him.
You can just send Larry after me. He looks like
Yes.
I'll just stand in a corner and just.
Larry looks like he eats crowbars every morning.
Just a couple. I won't pop a flex for you guys. I don't want to do that.
Larry, are you gonna be at GenCon this year?
Every year, man. So usually, this is another weird thing. I'm one of the senior volunteers for True Dungeon, so I've been friends with Jeff for a long time and come down there and help him out. So usually I volunteer with True Dungeon, but as I've been kind of pursuing my own thing, I haven't volunteered so much. I still help him out a little bit, but yeah, man, I'll be there. Yeah, I definitely like to connect and meet up with some people. I kind of I've been doing my own thing and kind of I connected with a bunch of people last year and it was a good time. So yeah, man, I'm down. I'm all in this year. It'll be cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, if you don't know who Scott Alden is, you've been living underneath a rock. But that is the man. That is Mr. Board Game Geek himself. So.
Yeah, I think it was Board Game Geek. What's up, Scott? Nice to meet you, man.
Good to meet you. I want to check that True Dungeon. I got an offer from, and I'm drawing a blank on his name, but he's a geek, and to just tour it. Is that still available? Possible?
To like tour?
Yeah, I just want to see. I don't want to go through it. I don't have time to play it.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
I just want to check behind the scenes a little bit.
Yeah, I can have I can connect with you, and I could totally give you a tour through the back, show you the kind of the animatronics and stuff like that. It'd be pretty cool, man. We'll set it up.
I meant to do it last year, but I just did not get a chance.
Yeah.
All right, is this open to everyone or just the high poobah of
people we can get
You suddenly get a geek. You suddenly get a geek gold coin that just has a Mobius strip on it.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. I'll talk with Jeff and see how many people we can get in. Usually we can get a lot of people in just to check it out, as long as we don't interrupt too many things. So that shouldn't be too big of a problem.
If it's totally non-disruptive, I don't want to mess anybody's.
Yeah, no. You have like the flashlights and stuff.
So I gotta ask. Now that we have, you just mentioned something, Travis, and I've always wanted to ask this, and I've never thought of asking Scott this question. What's up with all the weird micro badges that only like 1 or 2 or 3 people have, like the golden camel and stuff like that? Is that you handing them out, like little tiny?
I have nothing to do with it.
Oh,
Yeah.
whatever. Lie.
I don't know what the golden camel was for. Honestly, all I did was I'm like, we made the golden camel, and I'm like, don't put that for sale because I want to do something special with it. And then nothing really special happened to it. It's just got this weird thing.
Yeah, but like 6 people have it or something like that, and nobody
So,
knows.
you know, some people have power to give badges away, so I'm assuming an admin gave the badge to somebody. Probably.
I don't know. I'm not. I think you're just talking out of your.
Do you want a badge? Do you want a badge, Lance?
No, I can't.
He desperately wants a badge.
Secretive, you know. I mean, it can't be like, oh, why did he get it? Oh, because he pestered Aldi one night on a Google hangout. It has an air of mystery to it, and I want it to continue having.
You want to earn it.
Okay, well then I have not revealed the true nature of the golden camel. Sorry.
You got to sing a tune, man.
Someday
You got to
I
sing a
will
tune.
reveal that.
Yeah.
Do a little dance.
Yeah. Dance a jig.
Hey, Travis, I was catching up. Like, I've been sick the past week, which has been sucking. But I watched all the Alabooms from the past 2 weeks, which is like 8 hours of content. I was like, how did you guys go for 4 hours the other day? That's crazy.
You did 6 hours one night.
And then you've got your other show. You've got a second show, the Prolix Nomicon.
Yeah.
Which is like another 4 or 5 hours on top of that. So I was sick and just in bed watching you guys, and I'm falling asleep and I'm waking up and I'm like having these weird dreams. But I fever dreams. But I was very sorry to hear about your problems at Origins. Are you doing all right?
Yeah, that was I for those of you Larry, who looks like he's never been sick a day in his life.
Here it comes.
I had some sort of weird stroke type, the diving bell and the butterfly type moment out of nowhere, and I went to the emergency room and they couldn't tell me what was wrong with me, and I was freaking out. And this was like the day before the doors at Origins open. So I spent the night in the hospital, and then they let me. The cardiologist came in the room. He's like, "Oh, you're just having an anxiety attack." I'm like, "I don't feel like I'm having an anxiety. I don't know why I'm anxious." Or, well, no, you're just having an anxiety attack. I'm like, does an anxiety attack make your arm numb for 3 days? Because I don't think that's what's happening. So I went to my family doctor when I got home, and he continued on saying he thinks it's something with anxiety, and I don't agree with that at all. So he gave me just some random like crapshoot because I have a really bad shoulder injury. So he's like, here's some muscle relaxers and here's something to take care of severe acid reflux. Here's these 2 medications that
means he thinks you have anxiety. He's just trying to dope you up so you don't care.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to hear that it wasn't like a stroke.
Well,
is
it true that he gave you the ones that were to be taken orally, but then you demanded suppositories?
Yes, with a paintball gun. I was like, which one could be loaded in a paintball gun? And he gave
That's
me
not what analgesic means, by the way.
That was good, Larry.
I beg to differ. I know a story about somebody.
We might have an attendee to a Prolixonomicon here with Larry.
We might have a new host on Prolixonomicon.
Yeah, I think
Flash bodyguard. We can actually get a little more loose with our dialogue, Lance. Maybe we could start talking about the things we talk about on the phone on TV instead.
Yeah, no,
just gotta hold them back.
No, yeah. So, for those of you wondering, Prolixonomicon is a work in progress of just me and Travis inviting some poor schlub to join us online to talk about, ostensibly to talk about a topic, but then Travis just spends like most of it trying to get me going and trying. trying to exasperate me to the point where I finally go on one of my half-hour rants about something that's pissing me
The
off.
last one was the best one. It was I gave Lance 5 minutes to describe his feelings about the Game of Thrones finale. And
It went on for like at least a half hour.
Oh, God, I've got to go back and watch it after I went to bed now.
Walk away.
And then the second topic was something else I knew that was, Lost. What did you think about the Lost finale? And then he freaked out again. And then I asked him to give me his feelings of the entire Bible in 5 minutes. And then he was like, I'm going to bed. I believe your exact words were, I hope you get 4 flat tires and can't find a jack.
It could be worse, I guess.
Well, saying die in a fire is so old and
Yeah,
like
you gotta spruce it up. I understand.
it's so 2009.
Yeah.
You know, so, yeah. It'd be like,
Well, thank you guys for the 15 hours of content that got me through the fevers and the
shake.
like coughing fits.
Yeah.
It's great.
I'm glad you're feeling better. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, no problem.
Scott, if you could give us one piece of feedback for our show other than it needs to be shorter, what would you say?
Too much Game of Thrones, maybe. I don't know. I mean, but here's I love every minute of the Game of Thrones stuff, but I think a lot of people kind of, I don't know. Have you guys talked about Game of Thrones yet?
No, but I planned on dropping some Game of Thrones napalm on Lance.
I think the theme stuff is cool.
Yeah,
That's
I like the
interesting.
theme.
Yeah. It gets a little off track, but I guess
What?
you keep trying to steer it back.
I talked about my father trying to like indoctrinate me into being like a male stereotype for like 3 hours in the last one.
Yeah.
And we came to the realization that you're
had an
nothing
interesting
but a
job.
disappointment to your father. So
You're a failure. Yeah.
yeah. All right. Well, yeah, we've been
Larry
talking.
is what your father wanted.
Yeah.
All right. Come on, somebody ask like Lauren,
Like something about games and stuff?
Lauren, Lucas,
All right, hold
Jamie.
I got
Guys,
something.
has anybody played Forge Wars lately?
Who? Forge Wars?
Yeah.
I slept in a
great
bed with the designer for 4 days at Origins. I'm not even kidding you.
Is the video available online? Can we get that somewhere?
I've been playing that recently, and it's amazing. I love it. We have a review up tomorrow, actually, a video review of that game, and I recommend it to everybody. It's really, really good.
Have you met Isaac? Have you met the designer?
Not personally, no. It's hard to meet people from up here.
Someone pointed out to me, I was like, Isaac is like the funniest guy in the world, and then my partner pointed out to me, he's like, you realize all he does is just repeat what you just said with a question mark, and you start laughing at it. He's like, you're just laughing at yourself because you're a giant narcissist.
Seems valid.
Why didn't you introduce me to him at Origins? Why you gotta be like that?
I mean, I'm sorry, I was recovering from a stroke. I didn't realize.
No, you were recovering from an anxiety attack.
Oh.
Tough. That's below the belt.
No,
So
Larry, you said that's below the black belt, which I got when I was 5.
I was born with it, man. It's all right. I don't know how it goes. Someone was talking about Google Analytics earlier, and it kind of perked my ears, but I don't remember who was talking about.
That's an exciting topic. I'll be back.
So I don't know.
You're talking about the Kickstarter one, or?
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys know, but there was a huge article going around that like James Matthew and Stegmeyer and stuff posted. That was actually my article about Google Analytics and Kickstarter. So I guess I pretty much remember about that. Yeah. So actually, that's funny because I can actually. Like historically, you couldn't really tell what's going on. I can attribute all of the backers I've had from BGG. I could tell you where they came from, how long they spent on the site, what pages they hit before and after. Like, I could see some pretty detailed metrics. I'm probably going to publish some kind of report depending on how our campaign goes. If it fails, I'm probably just going to jump in the river. But if it goes well, we'll see. But probably especially for video reviewers, I think it'll be valuable because they can actually have something. A lot of it. I mean, I feel out of place because everyone here is a video reviewer, and I've never done it. So, something to go like, here's my marketing credential. I generate this many leads for your campaign or this many views or whatever. I think is really valuable for content creators. So hopefully I'll have something like that to be able to publish. But
Larry, I think there's like 2 video reviewers. I think there's more game designers here than video reviewers.
To be fair, I don't know who any of you guys are, so you guys can be
Luca happens to be both.
It's both.
Luca, you work for Asmodee, don't you sometimes?
No, my brother.
Oh,
My brother.
really?
Yeah. Well, he used to. He doesn't do it anymore. He used to work for
Is
them.
he a twin brother?
No. We just look alike. He's shorter, I'm taller.
That's weird because I thought I met you before, and it was your brother.
No. Well, I was at GenCon when he was working for Asmodee. I was there as Vortidet filming, so maybe we met like that or something.
Bumped in.
Is that is that going to become a thing eventually where, like, if you're from Canada, that means you work for Asmodee? Asmodee to buy Starbucks in Canada.
If you work in board games, you're going to be working for Asmodee soon.
There's a lot. Yeah, well, I work for them. Well, I have to make a video for them. But...
If they bought us out and I could retire for, I don't know, a month. So happy.
Yeah.
Scott, are you going to GenCon?
Who?
Scott, are you going to be at GenCon?
Oh yeah, we're back in the Family Fun Pavilion.
Same.
Awesome.
We're right. I think we're neighbors again.
Oh, sweet, good. Hopefully,
So,
we'll be the best. We'll be the best game for 3 of the 4 days again because we're closest to you.
Yeah, the proximity thing has always been an issue with Geek Buzz.
Not for us, it hasn't been.
Yeah, I know exactly. Like,
we made like a teacher's salary last year because we got a booth near you.
well, we've basically made it mobile now, so anyone can do it from their phone. Like, you can just scan the. It's got a QR code on the back that'll just take you right to the Geek Buzz app. It's a web app, right? So you have to be on. You have to be online and everything. But yeah, it's always hard to figure out that stuff. Because proximity is a huge deal in conventions, right? We have the same problem when we're at Spiel. Like, the booths near us send people to vote for their games because, we're right next door, so it's very easy. But when it's 3 acres across the way to get to the thing, it's like, yeah, usually...
Oh, acre?
But, yeah, whatever. Miles? How long is that convention hall? Ridiculous.
Furlong. 12 furlong.
You should measure it in gamer stench. That would be a more accurate measurement.
You know what you should look into is beacons. So I don't know if you know what beacons are. They're usually used in retail, but so it uses a phone's NFC. And so let's say you have a booth that has a game, and they're walking by with their phone. The beacon will ping their phone and say, "Hey, you're near a game that's also on BGG's review list or whatever. You should review it."
We've talked about giving out like cards that people can scan and stuff, but then it turns into this big, huge project with lots of investment that it's just for buzz, right? Like, there's no... Like, we spend a lot of money. We don't really sell anything. We sell some promos and stuff at GenCon, but we definitely don't make money at GenCon.
Well, you could maybe...
the press coverage and
sure.
game coverage.
Well, having the beacon, you can maybe rent them out, and this may be an offline thing, but I'm a marketer, so I talk about this stuff all the time, like renting beacons to like developers to have their game listed. So like, they don't have to scan anything. Users don't have to scan anything. They walk by the booth, and their phone through NFC hits the beacon and it pings them. Yeah, so that could be like an advertising opportunity.
There's definitely some interesting things there.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty cool.
I wish I had the resources to develop those crazy ideas.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Okay.
Random thought.
All right, so Lauren and Jamie, they got to get going here. So if people wanted to find you, how would they find you, Lauren and Jamie?
Well, they can find us on our website at webigames.com, WIBAI games.com, Twitter at webigames. We're on Facebook. You can just put in WebIGames into Facebook. Pretty easy to find us.
Here, if I can talk just for a quick second before you leave, if you like, well, because did you guys talk about the game at all or say anything about it, like briefly or whatever? I mean, I can give the overview too, but if you like, it isn't cooperative. I think a lot of people think the game is cooperative. It isn't.
Right.
It's a game where everybody's trying to race to solve the mystery of the whatever the curse is, and trying to collect these cards that are going to enable you to do that. But as you collect cards, you basically kind of get cursed as you play, and there's a really good chance you're going to become a werewolf, a zombie, or a vampire. And if you're lucky enough, in my opinion, to become one of those, then you get to hunt down the other players and eat them, which is something that's highly enjoyable. And that's
usually Lauren's goal when we play.
No, actually, my goal is to kill a monster. That's my favorite way to win.
Oh, it's much more fun to eat the people than it is.
It's a really bad monster, because it doesn't matter how many dice he gets, he's always going to roll like a 2. You can give him 11 dice, and he'll roll like a total of like 2.
Oh, nice. Which one's your favorite monster of the 3?
Oh, I mean, the werewolf is the most powerful.
Yeah, I like playing the werewolf.
Yeah, I like the werewolf too.
Yeah.
But the vampire has the secret passages.
Yeah, he can be sneaky if
every time Lauren plays the vampire, he gets himself killed.
I'm the world's worst vampire. I cannot play that character.
That's crazy.
We actually have a term that when people roll a bunch of dice and get like nothing, we call that a Lauren.
Yeah.
Nice. It sounds like you play the game about as well as I play like Arkham Horror, because I never get it.
I curse dice. No one wants to touch the dice that I've just touched.
And you know, people don't buy into that stuff, but it is true. People can curse dice by touching them. It does
Lauren, I have a game for you. If you this right here. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, is that Dice Masters?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. So we technically own a copy of that, but we've never received it. We have some friends who gave it to us and then accidentally took it back, and we've never gotten it.
It's a perfect game for guys that can't roll dice.
Yeah.
Sounds like great friends.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, definitely go and check out the game. Have you given thought? I mean, obviously you probably have like expansions, so you can have like different monsters, like
we've thought about it, and we've dabbled around with it a little bit. I don't know if we will do an expansion or not. We feel like it's a really good game in a box.
We kind of put everything we had that was really working well into the game, and at this point, we're kind of trying to get away from it for a while, and maybe like actually come at it with some fresh ideas. So it's possible we might do something later, but it's not going to be for a while.
And right now the expansion ideas were, new monsters, new characters, new tiles, and in the end you're just doing the same thing with just a little bit of different components. So.
Yeah, but that's my favorite type of expansions. I always hate when it's like, oh, here's our new expansion, and it like adds these 17 new rules and these 5 different ways to play, and now we have a campaign mode, and now you can play this as co-op or whatever. And instead, what I want, especially with a thematic game, is I want just more stuff. I want more characters to play. I want like the Creature from the Black Lagoon and Frankenstein's monster, as 2 possibilities, or stuff like that. I mean, that's just me talking though. I might be in the
minority. We have some ideas for new monsters, some potential new characters, some potential like new tile locations. So I don't know. We'll probably do some other stuff for a while, and then we'll see if it does well and it sells out. Because we've still got all these games that we still have sitting around places. If it sells out, we might think about doing a reprint and adding some new stuff in.
And I tried to jump straight into doing an expansion, and after personally playing it over 100 times, I just had to get away.
Understandable. I understand. But that's just
we got our copies right before BGG Family, so they were in our library. I'm not sure how much it got played, but I definitely saw people checking it out and stuff. So
awesome.
It's very impressive for a first. I assume this is your first game.
Yeah, it's our first. It's our first one. Yeah.
By the way, the name has not been mentioned since I came on, so it's Transylvania, Curses, and Traitors. By the way.
Yes.
Sorry.
That's very cool. The art is awesome.
Yeah, the art's
I'm
amazing.
looking forward to trying it.
So, but yeah, solid game. So if you're a thematic game player and you like classic old monster movies, definitely, I think it's my daughter loves it. I love it, and it's and my game group does too. So highly enjoyable, and recommended a lot. So, and I should have a review up very, very shortly.
That's what you said yesterday.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, it's done. It's just in my upload queue, and I can't upload during the day. And if I was uploading right now, we wouldn't be able to be doing this. So I have to wait and upload after this is done, and then go from there. Plus, I live out in the boonies, and our internet is horrible. So
get that satellite.
No, we do have cable out here, but it is very, very poor. But
You won't be
Need some
getting
good.
cable fiber anytime soon.
yeah, no, not now. But I am lucky enough to have very few neighbors and peace and quiet. So there is that. But I'm sorry to see you go. I'm glad you were able to make it on. I look forward to seeing you at GenCon. And if you ever want to come back and be on the show, just drop me a line and say so.
Absolutely, we'll do that. Yeah, thank you so much. Nice to meet everybody. Yeah, sorry
Nice
we
to
got
meet you guys.
to run, but we weren't sure how long this was going to go.
Well, it'll be on at 2
hours.
o'clock in the morning, so you.
Yeah.
It's a marathon, not a sprint, definitely. So.
Okay.
So if you're bored in like an hour and a half and you can't sleep and
Yeah, I'll just log back on. Yeah.
the link is still completely valid, and you'll probably listen to me and Travis arguing about geopolitic problems in the northern Sudetenland or something.
Check back for our Game of Thrones spoilers.
We're Game of
There you go. All right, awesome. Well, yeah, thanks for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
All right,
yes,
thanks
Good
for having
luck, good luck
us
with
on.
the marketing and the rest of the games.
All right,
Yeah,
yeah,
thank you
thank
so
you very
much.
much.
yeah, I feel kind of bad. You guys are all on like Central Time, right?
The only
I'm on
time
set.
that
I'm on
matters.
set.
The only.
Not on Central
You're on
Time.
the centralist of time.
I'm in Indianapolis, Larry. Don't make
Okay,
me
all
drop
right.
you
We're
in
pretty
there.
close then. We're pretty close.
Don't
All right.
make me
Well, yeah,
think
I
you-
actually probably have to. I'll give you my address, man. Sorry. Yeah, I might actually have to bounce pretty soon too. Normally, I can actually stay out pretty late on Wednesday. I don't have a bedtime, but I've got a meeting in the morning, so I'm not too excited about it. But
A meeting
I think
with
for a couple more minutes.
some weights that I have to make
Yeah,
sure
with some
that.
iron. Yeah, got to put some iron in its place.
You're gonna
Yeah, I
go.
don't know if you guys see that beholder tattoo. That sweet beholder tattoo. It's pretty awesome.
Nice.
I don't know. I tend to think anybody with tattoos has got something wrong in their brain. So.
Thanks. Thank you.
As Lance talks about himself.
I've got ink all over my legs and most of my arms too. So.
Just a
Yeah,
pen
it's like,
exploded.
it's your camera, man. What happened to your camera?
Yeah, what's going on?
What
I
now?
see your little.
Your
Your
camera's
little.
turned off.
Yeah, man.
Whose is?
Yours.
Mine?
Yeah.
Yes.
Whose?
Oh man.
I don't know. Now? How's this?
You
Now?
can see your. Can't you
Looks like
see
you're
your
sitting
picture?
in a dark room.
I am sitting in a dark room.
Okay. Perfect.
No monitor
there you go.
on.
There you go.
Eyes closed. Yeah, it's happening now. We can see you.
There he is. The rock
Just
fighter.
turn it back off.
There is-
Turn it back off.
Nice to have you on, Larry.
You can't tell. I like to give people a hard time. It's all right.
Yeah, well, because you can back it up with love and hate.
I could just deadlift them. That's all.
Not all of us go start fist fights at the Exxon
At
station.
the club. At the club.
The last person that I dated before I started dating my wife, she was my wife when I started dating her. We dated and then she became my wife. But the last person I dated prior to my wife, she she worked in the same business same area as I did, and it was one of those like kind of weird like flirt things or whatever. And but she was really into physical fitness and things like that. But she looked fairly normal, but she was just like she was just always talking about her workout regimen and this, that, and the other thing. And she came up to my desk and she was talking. I had an inkling that she was interested, but I wasn't sure. I'm kind of dumb when it comes to that. And she was kind of probably hitting on me. I didn't really get it. And then my buddy, I had a buddy and he's a shorter guy. He's like, he's like 5'6" and kind of a smaller dude. And he liked her. And then she was sitting there and she was like saying, "So what are you doing after work tonight?" And I was like, "I don't know." She was like, "Oh, maybe we should go grab a beer." And I was just like, maybe. I don't know what's going on. And this guy, he's like, "I can go grab a beer." And she just flat out looked at him and goes, I don't date men that I can bench press." And it was like one of the he actually watched him like shrink, and he watched his actual ego like diminish in front of me. And I was
That's
just
awesome.
like, "Ew." Yeah, I don't date men that I can bench press. And then of course, like being the weirdo, she like reached out to me on Facebook like years later. I was married and whatever. She just sent a friend request. And I was like, oh yeah, okay. And I looked, and now she's like a professional female bodybuilder, like hardcore.
That's how it
Like,
goes, man.
you know, yeah. So
Like competing, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's kind of weird. I know, like it doesn't seem like a gamer kind of would get into this stuff. I mean, I'm obviously pretty passionate about board games and tabletop and stuff, but like lifting and training in general is kind of like a real life game. Like every time you're going to the gym and you're lifting something more than you've lifted before, and you're kind of like leveling up in real life. It's a weird way to gamify your life. It's pretty cool.
Oh, I know the same way too when I go to the gym.
I hate
Baldy, you know when I'm small, I know that's what you're saying all the time.
I know. It's like I count those reps. Little tracker on my little wrist tracker thing going on.
Yeah.
All right, 3 steps is good for today. 3 steps.
Yeah.
We're good, man. We'll get 4 next week. We'll be good.
I know. I when I was in college, I had a couple of roommates that were like really big into the weightlifting stuff, and I went with them for a little while, and it was fun and everything like that. But they were like way into it, like hard. Yeah. I mean, it's just fine, anything. You get into anything, and if you're on the outside, you see it as them being fanatics. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They see it as being passionate. On the outside, you see it as being like kind of fanatic or different or whatever. And but yeah, they were. Yeah, just way too many stories that are not fit for a public display. So, but I do remember the one day the one guy finally like bench pressed like 300 pounds or something like that, and like he had never done it before, and he was just like screaming in the backyard of this house that we were like about because he had done it, just like yelling 300 pounds over and over again. I was just like, dude, it's like 2 o'clock and they're gonna call the cops.
Yeah, I'm glad you did that, man. That's cool. I mean, it's a good feeling. But...
I was friends with these 2 guys I used to play Magic with when I was in my early 20s, and I was like in a band and wore like girls' clothes and looked ridiculous. And this guy took me. He played football for Butler, and he was like, he had been in the Army, and he was like, "You want to go lift weights with me one morning?" And I was like, "Sure." So I go, and it's just these guys, like giant guys. So I tried to keep up with him, and the next day I went to a Magic tournament, and like I tore like a bunch of muscle, like tendons or muscles or whatever in my hand, and my arms were just like curled naturally, like just like this. I'm not kidding you. Like, no, it was like my arms looked like a person like that had died in Pompeii. Like I was like curled into like a little dried out buffet cocktail shrimp, like that was just laying on a Lexan. And when I was playing, I would play my Magic cards. I would like unroll my hand, lay my card down, and then it would just naturally. It was like what are those things like at a kid's birthday party that you blow on them and they unravel, like Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice. It was terrible. I never lifted weights again. I swore from that moment on I would be fat.
I don't know. I want to take the audio out of there where it was when you go to a kid's birthday and you blow something, and I want to just take that.
Yeah, let's get Lauren and them back on real quick.
Yeah, we'll put that on Reddit. See what they can do.
I want a speaker button where I can just have Travis saying, "It's like when you go to a kid's birthday and you blow something." You're a
it's like the Arnold Schwarzenegger soundboard, like Let's do it. I'm good with that.
I just realized a second ago that Bruno Faduti is backing my game.
Good job, Bruno.
It must be because there's rules.
Bruno Faduti is one of like 3 designers that can just do no wrong for me, and so there you go. I don't know what it is. And Bruno Faduti was the first.
Played Lost Temple before.
I love Lost Temple. What are you talking about?
Bruno Faduti.
Oh yeah, totally. And then, but the weird thing about Bruno Faduti was he was the first designer ever that like the first time like I was playing a game and I said, "Wow, this game feels a lot like this game. I wonder if it's maybe the same guy." And then all of a sudden I realized that like a lot of Bruno Faduti games just kind of felt the same. It was like that was the first one ever that like
because they're all
I felt like a genius.
They're versions of Citadels. There's nothing wrong with that. I agree.
But
he's obsessed with role selection games. He has so many role selection games.
Yeah, but those are awesome.
He's playing to his strength. Yeah, he's playing to his strength. It's like Snoop Dogg's not going to make some country music or whatever because it's not going to work.
Snoop Dogg might make a role
or is it Snoop Lion? I'm sorry, I don't know. I'm not up with the date here, so it might be Snoop Lion. Might be some country music now. I mean, is this the first time
I've annoyed the meth unit.
The meth unit, what?
That's all you.
I'm annoyed.
We're out.
Annoyed that I haven't met Bruno yet. I mean, he's
going to GenCon. You should be able to meet him.
Yeah, fix that.
He is going to GenCon this year.
I'm pretty sure he said he was going to be demoing some game.
Oh, I'm going to have to track him down then.
Yeah, man.
Are you friends with him on Facebook?
No, last year at GenCon, I think.
Lance, are you friends with him on Facebook?
Why? Yes.
Did
you see this game?
No, I'm not gonna be that guy. I'm just
be like, hey, bro, I want to meet you. Let's meet up, man.
No, I mean, I've exchanged a few emails from time to time, and it's just like, yeah, I mean. It's one of those things. The one game is that I owned that I'm sad somebody made me an offer that I couldn't refuse, and I traded it was Ad Astra. And even though the game wasn't that great, I want it back. You know,
you can get that for like $10 from FFG every Christmas.
No, you can't. Ad Astra is no longer in print.
It's 75, like it's like 50, 75 bucks.
Yeah.
It was literally on the sale list like in 2012 to 13, maybe 14.
Yeah, I do remember.
You are incorrect, my friend. You are incorrect. Maybe 2011 was the last.
It could have been on the list.
2012 was the last time.
It could have been on the list. It just wasn't in stock. That's fair.
No.
It's like that Tannhauser game, right? Like they blew out Tannhauser and Ad Astra.
Yeah.
Guys, is there a way to share links
my favorite
on Google?
And where?
So you gotta write it down. Write it down on a piece of paper and then just hold it up to the camera.
No, because I wanted to go. If any Kickstarters up, I was gonna go back them or go check it out. Or like Travis, you have a game up apparently.
I have a game up called.
I'll drag them up.
Called Scoundrel Society right now.
Scoundrel Society.
Send them out. I'll help you out.
I caught up on my Kickstarter addiction today.
I know. I saw you back it, Scott. Thank you.
No problem, man.
Whoa.
It's a cheap game. It's like what, $20 or something?
All right. If you
the
take
basic version's $20. If you want the deluxe one, it's $27.
Yeah, I went for the deluxe.
If you're feeling generous, you should back Foe Hunters too. That'd be pretty awesome.
What is it?
Foe Hunters?
Yeah, I think I backed Foe Hunters already.
Did you? That'd be awesome, man. Yeah.
Come on, Larry.
I already backed.
I don't
think
you did yet.
Jump in there, man.
Come on, market research, Larry. You don't even know.
Hold on a second. I'm getting there. Foe Hunters.
Is this? I don't know if it's me. This is my first campaign. Is it like really common to just sit here and stare at your like real-time metrics and stare at your backers as they come in and get all excited? Is that like a real thing, or is that just?
It is just
a little judgmental there, Larry.
No, that's what I've been doing this whole time, man. I'm like, whoa, another backer. That's awesome. Like that's.
It is. It's cool.
Well, one of them was me, so.
What's the score, man?
It's definitely not unusual. I mean, like, it's kind of funny though. On our first project we did well, and on our second project we funded in 2 hours, and we didn't make $100,000. And Nick and I were like kicking a can around the street, being like, "Man, this is BS. We only made $45,000 in a day. This is nonsense."
I know, isn't that the weirdest thing?
It's like first world problems, yeah.
It's so bizarre.
It's crazy.
Like that the whole transformation of that just still boggles my mind.
Yeah, we were so grateful the first time around, and we were like. Well, our first two campaigns were night and day. Like this one too, no one is talking. Like we funded we almost made 50% on our first day, and we've had barely any comments, like nothing. I talked to Jamie Stegmeyer. I'm like, are we doing something wrong? He's like, I think you're doing everything right. He's like, Kickstarter's just kind of the Wild West here lately. Putting a project up in the summer is not the best time to put one up. And he's like, the price point's good. He's like, I like that you didn't put up a bunch of different videos that's overwhelming people. He's like, it looks good to me, but our first two projects though, where with the first one it was like I quit my job. I'm not kidding you. We got so many messages that I was like in front of a computer for like 16 hours a day. I mean, like I'm not kidding you. Like when you look through our inbox from our first project, it's like 15,000 messages. Wow. Seriously. And the second one, nothing. It was just they just gave us money and left us alone. And Stegmeyer's opinion on that is he's like it's loyalty. It's like you went through the crucible of them torturing you. So the second time around, they're just going to give you money and leave you the hell alone. So
that's fair.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean we're doing okay. We're at like 65%. I mean I'm pretty confident we'll fund. We've got a banner ad coming up on BGG tomorrow. Actually, luckily Chad, who I harass all the time. Chad's very good, Scott. By the way, he's a good egg.
An asset.
He's a good egg, and I torture him quite often and ask him for information over and over again, and he always is. He's always very polite and gives it to me, even though he's already given me some iteration of it before. But yeah, hopefully the banner ad will help. We were thinking about getting the second banner ad. I was talking about this before, but the banner ad, whenever you have a game, you're selling it for $19. We got to sell a lot of games to pay for a second one. So we're going to see.
And the banner ads typically work better once you're already funded. I don't know, like the timing might be a little early, but how long are you in?
We're up for 26 days. We've always done one at the beginning and one at the end on the other two. But right now, I think the biggest problem for us is just visibility. It's just no one knows about the game.
Yeah, I hadn't heard about it until Lance kind of he made like I guess it came across my YouTube feed.
Yeah,
I hadn't heard anything about it.
That's probably because Lance video.
I mean, even with like, unfortunately, did you get to do much promotion at Origins, or were you?
No, we did. We did. I mean, we showed it off. W. Eric Martin took pictures of it. We talked to him about it. Yeah. I played it. We played it with some people.
Whoa, here, hold on. Once again, I want to have just a soundbite that says, no. We showed it off. Eric Martin took pictures of it.
We boned Origins, by the way. We messed up. Well, what happened to Origins? How did Origins grow by 40% in 1 year?
I don't know.
And then
I think it's the board game thing.
Everybody was all the publishers are telling me I'm not going to bother going to Origins, and everybody goes to Origins with new games. Like I guess everybody was lying to me.
I think it recovered a little bit from 2 years ago, and so
like
it continued
2 years ago was the last time we were like, should we do our full deal at Origins because we did the thing at GenCon?
We weren't going to go.
It's a lot of money to do our thing, right? So we basically just said, send Eric and just do like a quick kind of coverage. But then I see there's like 100 games coming out of Origins.
It's crazy.
Yeah, we weren't going to go. We got the
Game at Trade Show, same thing.
We got the last booth, and the people next to us actually didn't even show up, so we got to absorb their booth. So we ended up getting an extra booth for free. And it was good. I mean, I thought everyone told us we were going to lose money. They're like, you got to go, but just consider it. It's kind of like BGG. They're like the BGG con where it's like it's not an exhibitor's con. You go to have fun, and it's a great networking experience. Sure. But you shouldn't go there with the expectation that you're going to sell a ton of games. But we have the 2 times we've gone. It's been good. So that's not me dissing on BGG, Scott.
Oh yeah, it's also a scale thing, right?
Sure. But
15,000 attendees.
That's like what we've heard from people that we know that go to it. They say you go to it because it's a good con to go to. It's a good con for visibility and things like that. But we like more than doubled up at Origins, which I was surprised. But Lance, before you so rudely interrupted me and put words in my mouth with your giant rock biter hands. What I was trying to say was we did play the game and show it off. We went over to the Unpub Blue Noodle and sat down and showed it off and played some games with other designers and people who wanted to play test stuff, and it was well received. It's just, I don't know. Maybe we're just the heroes wanted guys. I mean, we have a girl that we pay that does all of our social media stuff, and we do a lot of out of market social media. But yeah, this one's surprising. It's really kind of not moving along.
It's a little under the radar. For sure.
We have some ad space on Board to Death. If you want to put it up on Board to Death, we have some ad space. It's really cheap.
Okay, yeah. I'll send you a message.
Cool.
Have you done a Reddit AMA yet?
No. Me and my partner's problem is we hate Twitter and we hate Reddit and things like that. So we pay someone to do that stuff for us because we hate it so much.
Mm-hmm. Or has someone on your behalf done a Reddit AMA? Cause,
I don't think so.
Okay, like 35% of all our campaign traffic has been from Reddit so far, so it's a pretty significant chunk. I mean, I can even tell you how many backers we've had from Reddit, which is pretty cool. So I will do that real quick.
I back an occasional game, but I find most of mine on Twitter.
Yeah, that's fair.
Larry, so when you integrate analytics into your Kickstarter, does it actually track conversions too?
So you have to set it up a little bit.
The whole
yeah, so I wrote an article about it, and you have to use like a regular expression code to track it, but it is trackable. You can track that. I'm trying to figure out a way to track the when people click the remind me button, and it's really difficult because they don't pass the event data over, but I'm working on it, so if we get some progress there. But yeah, if you go to spellforgegames.com and look up the article about Google Analytics, I've got the whole detailed like the instructions on how to integrate that. Or if anyone has any issues or problems, you can reach out to me directly. It's just Larry at spellforgegames.com or find me on Facebook or whatever. You know, I'll help whoever out.
Spellforge Games.
Spielforge Games.
Spellforge
Games. Yeah, no, that's right. No, but yeah, absolutely, I'll help whoever out, and that goes for anyone here, or anyone online, if you guys need some help.
I mean, I would love to feature some like how-tos on BGG about how to do like Kickstarter analytics and stuff.
Well, check out that article.
Like a guest blog. Yeah,
or just Google Kickstarter and Google Analytics, and I either rank 1 or 2 for that. So, if you like what you see, man, let me know, and we can make it work.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my profession, so I like writing about it in general, but it also kind of goes with my other thing in my hobby. So.
I talked to a lot of publishers that they just go by the dashboard, and the dashboard is garbage.
It's so terrible. Yeah, it's so terrible. I mean, the granular metrics.
It makes sense to me because I know they could totally fix this with cookies and stuff, and they don't.
Oh, it's super easy, and a lot of this. I mean, they could even pass like the e-commerce data through. Everyone's just fallen asleep right now, but they can even pass like the e-commerce data through transactions and stuff, and you could actually see how much a goal's worth and all that stuff. But it's I mean, I think what they've done so far, not being a super long time, creator in Kickstarter, what they've done so far has been pretty good. Like I can tell where people are at. Like, are you in Dallas? Is that where you guys are at, Scott? Okay, yeah, because I could see someone back me in Dallas, so I could tell that's probably so.
Yep.
Like, I mean, being able to see that in real time is pretty cool. Being able to see, like, if you tag your URLs properly, you can see where the traffic's coming from and how they interact. So I think that's a giant leap forward for creators, but it's still not.
It just feels like with $1 billion of gross income that they barely do any work on improving the product to help, and also they don't share anything.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a Band-Aid. It to me as a marketer,
it's a very greedy it's a very greedy company in my opinion.
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
It's revolutionized boarding.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for me, like, I don't know if anyone has the same kind of idea, but for me, like, coming in, it seems like back in the day, maybe 20 years ago or whatever, if you want to make a board game, you kind of had to mortgage your house and, like, sell everything you own, or like Kevin Smith, when he made Clerks, he had to sell his whole comic book collection and stuff. He just had to sell everything he owned, and like, it seemed like you had to do that, and now it's pretty cool that like an indie developer can do this stuff. They can go out and make a game without having to sell everything they own, and I mean, that's really alluring to me. I think it's kind of damaging though where it's heading, because people, it's becoming too industrial, like too maybe too, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but yeah, well, it's very saturated by like very high value campaigns. So like some guys were leaving, and I mean, I don't have a ton of art for my campaign. I have 6 or 7 pieces, but like a guy was like, unless you have all art for your game, you shouldn't launch it. And it's like, dude, I'm on Kickstarter because I can't afford to pay for all this stuff, man. Like it's the essence of like the whole crowdfunding thing. Is like, all right, here's my idea, here's the proof that I have my idea and it's presentable.
Well, there's ways around that, Larry. Like you can go and you can find artists that'll let you pay them on spec or sign a work for hire that you'll pay them on the back end, and maybe you pay them a little higher than they normally would be. Yeah. I mean, we still do that. We only now just started paying people in advance, and we work with a lot of different people. So, and there's ways around it. I mean, I think the problem is there's just this is my what I call my proliferation of mediocrity speech, which is everybody does everything now. It used to be that you'd be good at one thing, and now you got a camera on your phone, you're a photographer, you got a recording program on your laptop, so you're a music engineer. Everyone is bad at everything instead of being good at one thing. So, and that includes games, game design. So I do think there is an inherent stigma with Kickstarter. I was talking to some guys, actually, including Stegmeyer and some other people recently, and just this week since our project launch, and it's like there might be a point where there's a break point for Kickstarter. I mean, we just saw finally litigation with the Federal Trade Commission against the guy who did the Doom that came to Atlantic City. So, I mean, that's obviously a good sign, but that could be a bad sign as well, because that could mean that we're moving into more regulated space with Kickstarters and things like that, because it's kind of the Wild West. I mean, the money machine. It's like you hit a button and money just comes out for some people,
Yeah, I mean, it's like Bitcoin when you think about it. Like, that's still kind of up in there right now, and yeah, I do tend to agree, though. It's like, it's funny you mention that, like, everyone's just bad at everything and not good at anything, and like, I deal with that in my profession all the time. Like, people think they can fix their website, and then they're like, hey, all my rankings on Google just shot to hell and I don't know what's up, and then I have to tell them, well, it's because you bought links from some guy and he spammed a bunch of stuff. Like dealing with that all the time, so I can see how that's very, like, prolific in Kickstarter as well. I mean, I see a lot of campaigns, and I don't want to, like, I don't want to crush anyone's dreams or whatever. If that's your dream and you want to pursue it, that's cool, but like, I'm not saying my campaign's the best campaign ever either. I know it's not perfect, but there's a lot of campaigns where it seems like they're not really trying, or they just they're like, all right, whatever, man, we'll see what happens, and I could see how that could be detrimental for sure.
Well, there's games up there that, like, people have played the game with just like their family and friends, and they, what I mean, it's an affront to people that actually put the legwork in. I mean, I think there was a conversation sort of going around earlier where it was like, I think Barry had asked, how do you know when your project's up? And my answer to that is, when you want to put your project up on Kickstarter, wait 6 more months.
Sure.
Like that.
At least,
that's my answer.
Yeah.
We thought we were ready, and we went to BGGCon 2012, I think, or 2013, and we played a game with the board. Board to, is it, God, what are they called? Not Bored to Death. What's the guys that? What's Donald Schultz? The Texas guy.
On Board Games. Oh, Donald Schultz. Bored with Life.
Yeah, Bored with Life guys.
Okay.
We played with them and Scott Morris from Arcane Wonders, and one of them pointed out something to us about the game, and we changed it. And it ended up having, like, it didn't change the game, but it did require a lot of work to get everything to go in sync, because the game used to be simultaneous action reveal.
Sure.
And we were, and only that one thing changed, but still, we could have, at that point, we were like, well, we could put it up in November, but you know what, let's just wait. And we waited till February, and I'm glad that we did, because, from that, the game ended up being what it was. I don't think the game would have been as successful if it would have been simultaneous action reveal, to be honest. So I think a lot of people just get eager, and they might have, like, a, supportive family or friends or whatever, or maybe they live in a small town, or, like, they're not getting that sort of critical feedback that they need to make a game, put it through its paces.
Those kind of people are a dime a dozen. I mean, I've been seeing it on the Facebook group, the Board Game Geek Facebook group, where people are posting up their ideas about games, and they think just because their family liked it, it's a winner. It's just like
I run a design group here. I run a design group here in Indy, and, like, recently we a guy brought a game in, and a friend of mine, my partner, played it, and he's like, well, and my partner is like, econ major, mathematical guru. He is, like, put on this earth to break games. Like, that is what he's that guy. And he's like, well, I think there's a problem with this, and, I think this could be a little more clear. And the guy was like, well, my 11-year-old didn't have any problems understanding this. And it's like, cool. Well, if your entire audience is going to be clones of your son, then I think your game's going to be a tremendous success. Otherwise, maybe you should listen to the people who have done something with this, and maybe try to at least consider the feedback. But I don't know. It's you meet all kinds of people in this doing this kind of stuff. We've met some interesting people at Origins. One guy that thought he was sitting on like a multi-million-dollar version of a game. We met some people that thought they didn't have a good game and their game was really good. You know, it's crazy. Everyone's doing it. It's just that you can't keep up. I mean, we're a small publisher, and we've probably had 20 games submitted to us since May.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm talking
I keep wondering what's the level of saturation, and we have not hit yet.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you're talking about like playtesting and design, and I noticed that even at small cons, like people have a game and they're like, "Hey, you want to try my game out?" And I'm like, "Sure, man." And I played Magic competitively for about 10 years, and I mean, I'm friends with all like the Magic State champs up here and stuff. And I was on Richard Bliss's thing talking about like playtesting complex card games and how difficult that is, and how like Magic players or poker players competitive are probably the best players to do that because they don't really view the game like a game anymore. It's kind of like it's very mechanical. It's kind of like the Matrix. So having those guys playtest your mechanics in your game is very crucial. And like no one really, I mean, now I'm not saying no one, but a lot of people don't really playtest their thing. Like they think they have an idea and they get it together loosely and they're like, all right, here's my game, and then they don't realize there's like 100 different infinite combos and broken mechanics and stuff, and it's crazy.
Yeah, Nick, my partner was on the Magic Pro Tour for a couple Pro Tours. He never won anything major, but he was always in the money. He played poker for a living. His job, whenever you used to be able to do online poker, you know, he'd make a couple $1,000 a day just playing poker every day for 8 hours a day, and he's really good at this. I mean, he's very, very good. We're actually right now in the process of signing a deal with a guy that's like a pretty decently known designer, and he submitted some games to us that he had put out on his own a few years ago, and they did well, and they're flawed, and we pointed out some of the flaws to him, and he agrees with us, and we're going in and we're kind of addressing those issues. And it's really, you know, it's a breath of fresh air to meet a designer that is willing to take that kind of feedback and is willing to run with that kind of feedback. I think that's a really rare thing. Everybody is, you know, they think their game is the best, or they think they're doing something that's the coolest, or I'm no exception. I mean, you know, I definitely have said I think my game is better than this game that's in the same genre or whatever.
Sure.
But the difference is that's true. So.
Well, it's one thing when you put in the work and you can identify that. Like I'm an expert in internet marketing, so like if I say, you know, I know that my article or whatever is better, I know that I've implemented this, you know, it's better than the other guy. Like it's pretty safe to say, and especially when you're dealing with someone that hasn't really. Even if you have the best game idea or best concept in the world, like you haven't went through implementation, you haven't went through playtesting and stuff, so there's a lot of nuances there that you won't really understand until you've done it. And I think like those instances, especially for some designers or designers that are just presenting an idea, it's really hard for them to accept feedback and constructive criticism, you know, because they're like, well, this is my idea, it's good, I don't care what you say. And then I mean, I can imagine it's very refreshing to see someone that actually is like, you know what, cool, that is broken, let's go. Like, let's fix it. So
well, this Kickstarter experience is interesting too, because, you know, we've gone to a bunch of cons here recently. We've upped our con attendance quite a bit, and we were starting to sort of, you know, we've had, especially at Origins, we had a lot of designers that are published guys coming up pitching us games. Now, in a few instances, a couple of these guys were clearly pitching us their dregs, like they had walked the hall and they're like, this is my game about minotaurs that are trying to deal with drug addiction. And you're like, wait, what?
They're trying to get their kids back.
Nobody wants it. Do you want it? And we say no, thank you. But we started to kind of get the opinion like, hey, we're actually doing pretty well. And then, you know, we put this project up, and we're sort of, you know, we didn't fund like day one like we thought we would, or in day two. And, you know, today we only gained like 6 or 7% towards our goal, and I'm like, God dang. I mean, it's humbling. In a way, it's kind of good. I mean, I still think that we're within spitting distance of our goal, but
I think we're easily there. Yeah.
It kind of puts some perspective on things. But you know what's interesting is we're doing a Kickstarter a week after this one ends. Another one. We got contacted by a pretty decent Polish publisher today that wants to make a Polish edition of it while we haven't even printed the game yet, and they want to sync their print run up with our print run, and I had, like, Richard Ham was interested in doing is actually going to take a look at it now. And the first time I pitched him the idea, he wasn't interested. And after he saw the artwork, he's like, "Yep, you know what? I'll take a look at this." So
awesome.
Yeah. So maybe this one doesn't do the greatest in the world, but the next one will. So it's all. I mean, it's hard to tell. I mean, what people even want.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. If you're 60% in 5 days, I'd say you're probably doing something.
Our
okay.
last project, we made 45 grand in the first day, and then there was probably 7 or 8 days where we lost money, and we didn't even have like that big rush at the end. Like, there's this cliche or this like standard where people are like, "Oh, you're going to make 30% of your funding in the first 3 days, and then in the last 3 days," and that was not true at all.
Yeah. I mean, it could have just been a fluke. You never know. Like, I mean, who knows? I've noticed.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
All right, well, I was going to say, I've noticed, like, in general, especially today, Kickstarter's been, like, really weird. I actually almost contacted support for Kickstarter because I thought there was something wrong. Because about 2 days ago, they had a weird website issue where they were over-allocating pledges. And I don't know if anyone noticed that, but basically everyone's pledges dropped to 0 and their backing level dropped to, like, $- and stuff. And I contacted their support teams, like, "Hey, this is what's going on. You need to fix it." And it fixed itself in about an hour, but it was, had me freaking out, obviously. But I almost thought there was something going on today because, I mean, we've had a ton of traffic today, and the engagement has been there. Like, people aren't bouncing; they're staying on the site for a couple minutes. But there's been like no conversions, and it's like really puzzling. So I don't know if it's just the time of the year or what, man. But today specifically, the last couple of days have been pretty crazy.
Yeah. We had an interesting thing the day before we launched where I looked at our page, our preview page, and like half of our page was gone, and it was some sort of like Chinese or Japanese text. No one had been in our page, and it just wiped all of our images, all of the the hyperlinks and all that crap was gone. So I had to go back in and build it out. And then the morning we went to launch, they're like, "Okay, your project is now pending approval." I'm like, "Wait, what? No, we've done." Yeah. They had none of our financial information. I was freaking out at like 6 in the morning, calling my partner up, being like, "Go wake up, please!"
Yeah. That's crazy, man.
I hit submit for approval, and then they approved us instantly. So I don't know. Maybe there's something glitchy going on with the site.
Yeah, I definitely know there was. Then like 5-6 days, whenever it was, I can't remember when it was. But it was around the time we launched. But who knows? It could be still going on now, man. I don't know. It just seems uncanny to me. Like I said, I'm not a Kickstarter expert by any means. I'm not anything with this, but it just seems really like in my industry. Like if I get a conversion rate of if I get a click-through rate of like 2% or whatever, and a 0% conversion rate, that starts to make me go, "Hey, there's something wrong with the page or something going on." So like that was pretty startling for me. But I don't know. Who knows?
Lance, what do you think of conversion rates?
Yeah, how's your feeling?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't. Are we? It was the Travis and Larry show. I thought.
You jump in, man. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I was just supporting Medium. To allow this to happen, and for you and your new bestie to talk about whatever it is that you're going to talk about.
Lance gets jealous really easy.
No, I don't get jealous. There's nothing you get jealous about. Friendship with you, who cares?
I've never had a person that calls me every day on the phone treat me so poorly in public.
You son of a...
I'm like the fat girl. I'm like the fat girl that you don't want anyone to know that you're dating, but secretly you're in love.
You're my slump buster.
Yeah,
you're my slump buster. No, I don't have anything to add.
Scott, what do you think about all this stuff?
I missed the last 5 minutes because I was coughing. I'm sorry.
No, you didn't miss anything. I just want to let you know you didn't miss anything.
I find it fascinating, to be honest.
Good info.
Yeah, I would talk about it. I mean, I do find it fascinating. I run a website that tries to generate Kickstarter traffic for people. Right? Yeah. That's what I do.
Well, I'll tell you what, Scott. If our pledges don't go up tomorrow when we have a banner ad, I'm getting on a plane to Dallas or wherever you are.
We'll play something.
I will bring you some cough medicine. That's all. No threats. Just
Thank you.
Barry, what's going on with you?
Yeah, hey, congratulations, Barry. You hit 500.
Yeah, I actually did a while ago. It's just we've been really busy with, my wife's father's been in the hospital and stuff like that.
Oh,
So I finally got around to making a video. Yeah. But yeah, I think we're like 560 or something now. I really don't pay attention to that too much, but like I said, I'm giving them.
What are you talking about? 560? What? 560 friends on Facebook or something?
Yes, subscribers. I'm a little guy, Lance.
What's your
Oh, okay. That's cool.
what's your channel, man?
The Gateway Gamer runs through. But
Is that like / Gateway Gamer runs through? What's the?
On YouTube. I'm sorry. YouTube Gateway.
Yeah,
Gamer
what's the URL, man? I'll go give you a sub. All right.
But yeah, like I said, we've been slowly growing. I think part of it is I don't do Kickstarters. A lot of guys do, and I won't do it. I won't put the time into them, for something that's not published.
I think we had the conversation where you were gonna really want to just put the time into the games you liked, right?
No, well, yeah, that's what eventually happens. But I do a whole game, so it's normally like 10 hours of work into each video. So I'm not gonna do something that might not get funded, And that kind of did hurt the channel a little bit, with the subscribers. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of games out there.
Yeah, there is. So yeah, like you said, I think we're around 560 or something like that subscribers, and I just put a video up yesterday to thank everybody who subscribed and giving away a copy of XCOM. Yeah.
Nice.
I still haven't played my copy.
What?
I'm actually thinking about getting rid of the one I have because I don't think it'll ever get played again. My wife doesn't like it, and I think it's a little too complicated for some of the family members.
Yeah,
it's not a gateway game at all. We did the game night crew did a video of it, and it's like a 45-minute rules explanation, and that's an edited rules explanation.
Yeah,
that's rough. Yeah, have you guys played Castles of Burgundy? Is that a thing you guys have done?
I love it.
Yeah.
Dude, that game is awesome. I love that game, but I sat down. I bought it like a year ago and just got the time to play it now. And I opened it up, and I was like, all right, I'm going to sit down and play this game. And I opened the rules and was like, all right. Yeah, I sat there for like an hour and a half trying to figure it out, and there was a 3-minute YouTube video that I watched, and I was like, oh, okay, we're ready to go, man. Like, it was insane, man.
That's my dream goal. To have 3 to 5 minute videos that get you into the game playing right away. It's my dream back burner project.
I think
you think Lance and I could do that?
Yeah. 3 to 5 minutes, you might actually get through.
No, they said it's not.
You get the intros. Yeah.
3 to 5 hours. Yeah, wait, 3 to 5 hours. Yeah, no problem.
Lance is explaining the etymology of the word burgundy for the first 20 minutes of the
In a castle.
And then the Travis is talking that it's von Burgundy.
Yeah.
Travis is talking about the time he served Burgundy wine and
yeah. I remember back in the day I had a glass of white Burgundy. Have you guys ever heard of white Burgundy? Pretty awesome.
No one's made fun of me for doing. Hold on, let me put my feet up for Lance. There you go.
I feel like this is an ongoing thing. I don't know if I can comment.
It's so sad whenever my wife sleeps in a different room whenever I Alaboom. It's like the saddest thing.
Well, no, to be honest, she's in a different room with her boyfriend.
Yeah.
Ooh.
In another state.
Damn, Lance, the gloves are off.
I know, it's harsh.
Yeah, well.
I'm going to play a joke on Lance, and GenCon, I'm going to walk up behind him and just cut his hair with a pair of scissors.
Just cut him. Yeah.
We'll see how long he retains the label of pacifist.
Oh, I had a question during the Kickstarter.
I'll just have you arrested.
It's about the question is for you, Lance. Like, what percentage of Kickstarter?
Oh, what's up, my friend?
What percentage of Kickstarter preview videos or review videos do you reject? Like, how many people come to you with like, "Hey, can you do my review video?" And you're like, "Ah."
Well, during Larry, I mean, I'm gonna talk about a few of these things, and don't take any of this as bragging. This is straightforward honesty. So during the Larry Travis love-in, I finally went to my inbox at Undead Viking Videos at Gmail, and I started responding to requests about doing videos, and I had a little over a dozen. And so like usually they have a description of the game. If they don't tell me anything about the game, I respond to the email and ask them, hey, give me like a 5-minute run, give me like a 5 sentence rundown of what your game is. Yeah, and then if you have a web page or something that I can look at, or even better, like a set of the rules that I can read, send that off to me. And then for those, a lot of them, like you can tell they've sent the same thing to several different people because they have everything kind of put together, and and that's fine and that's good because it's all the information I need. And so usually, and this is once again, when I say this, it comes across as being a little haughty or a little full of myself, but like Joel, Eddie, and I were discussing on the phone, we were trying to figure out like how many games we played. And this is like a year ago. We were trying to figure out how many total board games we've played, and we both figured we were right around 1,000 different games. I mean, it was just like just a fair assumption. I mean, because for every one game that I play and I do a review of, there's like 3 I play and I never make a video for, and that's just a rough estimate. And so usually after reading the rules, I can tell if I'm going to like a game or not. I mean, I read them. I can picture the way the game works in my head. I can picture the way my gaming group is going to react to it. I can picture the way my family, if I play with my family, is going to react to it. I can just because I have a lot of information just to go on. I've been doing this thing for like 8-9 years now or whatever. So if it goes past that, and I think, okay, this is a game that I'm interested in. I mean, to be blunt, that's about 1/4 of the requests I get, because a lot of them, I'm not trying to be a jackass. I'm just
laughing.
Why are you laughing?
Got a cat attack, yeah.
Trying to make it
to life.
It's like, what cat?
She just can't. Yeah, no, she gets no attention during the day. So when I'm down here in my little dungeon all by myself, and she hears my voice, she knows she can get some attention. So, but no, so like, it's about 25 or 30% of the ones. Then I'll just say, to a lot of them, I'll just say, thank you very much. I just don't think this would be a good fit for me. I don't think we're gonna, but if there's anything I can do as far as like promoting it on my Facebook page or my Twitter page or something like that, by all means, let me know. I'll do what I can to help you out, because really that takes no time. Give me I just say, hey, check out this Kickstarter from so and so, and I'll blast it out. And it just, because if I can get one person to like their game, because if I don't like a game, it's because I don't like it. It shouldn't be because I don't believe I should be telling other people not to back a Kickstarter. That's lame. So because what I don't like doesn't necessarily coincide with other people. But no, so out of those 25-30%, I give them my terms and conditions of a preview video, and of those I get a positive response from about 3 out of every 4 say, okay, that's cool, this is when. And then of course we have to make sure that like I have openings and like the timing works and when they want it and whatever. And then out of those like 3 out of those 4, it's only about like maybe 1 out of every, like 5 or 6, I'll get it, and for some reason it just isn't gonna work. I mean, like there's been a couple where I've gotten some, and the rules are just an absolute mess, or what they've given me just doesn't work, or it's just like, after I've played it, there's just like a glaring problem with it that just doesn't work. And and there's been a few times in my gamer group they're like, this is horrible, and I'm just like, okay, and then we tried it, and there's been many times when I've emailed them and I'm like, am I playing this wrong? And they're like, no, that's how it plays. And then I just have to say, I can't. I can't get behind this game. I can't tell people this game because it's just not my thing, you know. But that's pretty rare because the pre-vetting process gets rid of most of them right away. And like I said, I've probably and I realize now at this point I want to do more videos for like published games, and I try to get those done, but I haven't done many, and I want to get back to that, but it's just I have a glut of these Kickstarters, and I like doing them. I like doing them for people. I like help getting these games published, and I've definitely got to play. It's kind of neat being a part of the process that gets being published and like seeing it.
Gaming, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's like it's kind of neat to see the games first, and it's like, and then and it's just like I get to, and I've established really good friendships with tons of designers and stuff like that, and then because we've exchanged emails after the fact, many, and so it's one of those things where it's both a blessing and a curse, I mean, it's just like I really enjoy doing it, and it's a lot of fun, and it's a challenge, and it's neat working with people, but I definitely have gotten away from what I was at the very beginning, which isn't a sad thing. It's just different. So I don't know. The long answer to your question is that I probably it comes down to about 75% of the stuff that like I get a prototype never I never make a video for as far as a Kickstarter just because I can't get behind it for whatever reason. It just isn't my thing. So.
Speaking of which,
that does not mean that the game isn't any good.
I sent you
okay,
a
yes,
copy.
and now this is yes, and your game is great, and I apologize that I haven't done a video for it. It's one of those things where it's like, yes, I know, and I knew this was coming as soon as I was like,
no, I'm not.
No, I love the game, my friend.
I didn't know if you got it or not. That's the only thing, because UPS.
No, I have it.
In that
I can
mountain
see it.
of
It's right
games
over.
Now the box is behind him.
Well, no, there's this is my basement's a mess. I have right to my right here. It is my yearly cull of board games, and I probably have over 100 board games here that I'm going to sell. I've got to go through the process of putting the geek list together on Board Game Geek, and I'm just gonna.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna sell these all at like half off. I can get them out of my house. So, yeah, and it's just and then over here, I've got all kinds of boxes because I know I'm going to sell a bunch of these, so I need these boxes. Then over there, I've got a giant stack of games that were originally in that corner that were moved because for Father's Day is building me homemade board game shelves for down here in the family room. And so then there's a bunch of lumber over here and stuff's being worked on. So yeah, so I mean, my wife, she's my wife.
She's handy.
It's weird. My wife and I. What?
No, it says she's handy. I was asking she's handy.
Oh no, yeah. It's weird. It's like for like Father's Day, she asks me what I want, and I just tell her I don't really want anything. I just want to be able to spend 3-4 hours with my kids and just go around and play the game we play every Thursday. I can't think of the name.
Love Letter.
With the mice and the cheese.
Gouda Gouda.
No. With
Gary Gouda.
No. With
the plunger game.
Shut up.
The plunger thing.
Mousetrap.
Mice.
No. Where you move. You have the cute little mice that you move around the path trying to get to the big blocks of cheese, and then the mouse.
Something.
Mousetrap?
No.
Chateau Roquefort?
Mice and Mystics.
No.
Mice and Mystics? Yeah, I don't know what.
I'm going to murder all of you. Just.
We're Googling mouse.
No, give me a second. No, it is not Gary Gouda. It wasn't Gary Gouda the last 9 times you said it.
Surprise slides.
It isn't Roquefort either.
Chateau Roquefort.
It's like Viva, like
Topo.
something.
El Viva Topo.
Viva Topo. Viva Topo. There you go.
Rio Grande.
And
yeah.
there's pictures. And I feel bad because for a while there, I was getting a picture out every year on Father's Day of my kids, and I didn't do one I think last year or the year before. But if you go onto Board Game Geek, you can see El Vivo Topo, and there is a picture of me and my daughter when she was just like 2, or maybe she was even 1 when I was living in an apartment with my wife and my girlfriend actually at the time, and then ever since then I have added the picture. And I missed the last, I think last year and the year before. I got to remember to do it again this year. But yeah, it is the second. You can see there's pictures, and there's even one where my son is just is just barely a year. But you can see if you go to Vivo Topo, you can see that there's some, not the first one, but after that, it's just me and my daughter playing El Viva Topo, and like the third picture is me and her playing when she was just a baby, of course. So makes me. And then the one picture though is like her when she's just a newborn, or she's like a little less than a year old, and there's a Twilight Imperium box in the background. Everybody's like, "Are you gonna play Twilight Imperium next?" So I was like, "No, probably not." But someday we'll play.
We're good.
But yeah, no. My daughter has turned into a total board game geek. She begs to play games, and we've actually gone now into games that are like Euro-y, if you will, and she's actually kind of understanding the process, and I'm pretty excited about it. So
That's awesome.
It's awesome, man.
yeah, no, I just it is.
I think you're good.
Maybe, but Viva Topo was one of the first games I ever got to review, and so I just ended up playing that with my daughter because she liked the little mice, and they are cute. The mice are cute. I'm getting all teary-eyed looking at my daughter.
I have a friend that has I think he's 3 years old now, and he's telling me that he's just terrified that his kid's not gonna like board games, and he's just waiting for that day where it's like, all right, man, here's a game. Are we gonna get this or not? And I can imagine that would be pretty crazy, especially if you're obviously really passionate about it. So if she was like, nah, screw this, man, and just flip the table,
I got a friend with 2 daughters, and one likes games, one hates them.
Oh
so
man,
he got a 50-50. Yeah.
It's better than nothing, I guess. That's true.
Yeah.
Man, I hate to be the spoil sport, but I think I'm gonna have to jump out here, fellas.
See you later, Larry.
Oh, Travis, your boyfriend's leaving.
I know, man.
Yeah, Jim,
He'll
Larry.
text me later. It's all right. It'll be good.
Yeah.
Let me know.
Together, pump each other later.
Let me know the results of your
man.
Kickstarter integration. That'd be really cool.
Definitely, man. Yeah. Shoot me an email, and we can talk about maybe writing some stuff.
Is it Larry?
Larry
Spellforge.
at Spellforge. Yep. Just shoot me an email.
Easy.
Like I said, that goes
Got
for
it.
anyone. But yeah, thanks for having me. It was pretty cool. I'd like to come chat with you guys again. It was pretty fun. It'd be awesome.
Nice to
Nice
meet you.
meeting you,
Yeah.
man. Nice
We'll
meeting
probably
you.
be here for
Definitely.
another 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah, that's fair. By the way, Lance, here's those playmats. They came out pretty cool, man.
Oh, nice.
Want to show them to you. So yeah, I'm probably gonna do some giveaways for those. It'll be cool.
I'm sorry.
Playmat.
I'm sorry,
That's
what
the
did you
Faux
say?
Hunters cover art.
Yeah.
Faux Hunters cover art playmat. I'm probably gonna do some giveaways. I know I probably.
Is it like
yeah.
like a mouse? Is that the mouse pad kind of thing?
Yeah, it's like a TCG or LCG or whatever playmat. They're like 16 by or 24/14, whatever. But yeah, man, they're pretty cool. But yeah, I know I showed it to you earlier, so I figured I'd show you now. Anyway, you guys have a good night. We'll wrap at you at some point soon, I'm sure.
Take care. Good luck on the
Easy.
project.
We don't.
Peace.
Yeah, make sure you talk to Travis. He's gonna be lonely without you.
Lance, I never knew you felt so strongly for
I know
him.
he's like jealous.
No, I just like making fun of you, though.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's what it is. Tough guy.
Oh, God.
Did you guys already talk about games?
A little, not much, as always.
Can I talk about a game?
Sure.
Yeah. What games have you played this week that you like, Scott?
I have not played anything in like 2 weeks because I've been friggin' sick, but I played Vector Ops.
What'd you think?
Yeah, I really liked it. I love hidden role games, like hidden movement games.
How many players, Scott?
Played 3. Played it twice in about 3.5 to 4 hours.
Did you play both roles?
I played both. I lost as the ninja character, and I won as the hunter. I played the what did I play? The sniper character, which is pretty awesome. I thought it was fantastic. I don't know what the general consensus is, but
I played it twice, and it didn't go over well with my group.
Yeah.
Which sucked because I was extremely excited about it. But I have a sneaking suspicion if I played it with different people, I would have a better time.
It's very like. Does your group enjoy hidden movement games?
They liked Whitechapel, but I think and I would have thought that they would have liked this more because of like the gear and the powers and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
What ended up happening was we like landed on the guy. We landed on the guy we were chasing like
turn 1 or 2 or something.
Just like randomly.
Yeah.
The guy, the designer of Forge War, was like a frigging psychic. He was like, well, he could be here, here, or here. Let's just go here. And then he would go there and it'd be like, boom, land on him. I was the wolf guy, the wolf hunter, and I landed on him twice, so I automatically hit him twice.
Right, right.
So he died pretty quick.
The thing about the game, I think, like, I played Garibald. I think I played just about every single, except for Aliens.
Aliens in Outer Space?
Escape from Alien in Outer Space, which I heard is fantastic.
Yeah, it's fun.
But I played just about every hidden role movement game. This is definitely up there for me. Like, it's a quick bloody game. Like, I think that's the trick of it. Whereas like Whitechapel took me, it was like a 3-hour game, and I kind of just checked out in the last hour. You know, I'm like I'm tired of thinking about all the options, so I just kind of played it by gut, and that never works with those games because unless you're lucky, like what happened with your group.
I liked it a lot better than Whitechapel myself. I played Whitechapel, and I was like, Whitechapel's okay.
Believe me, I wanted to love Whitechapel because I do love Fury of Dracula. I love Scotland Yard, Mr. X, all that stuff. I mean, I just love those games.
But I really like
Whitechapel. Great, and you actually catch Dracula. The combat system of Fury of Dracula is so clunky.
Fury of Dracula needs a redo. Man, it does. It needs a redo badly. But Spectre
they just need to make the combat more simple.
Exactly.
Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So we were kind of having a few drinks in the game, and I think I kind of gave away my point. We got into a conversation, and we're talking about something. I said, "Come on, B-36, let's go." And I'm like, "What did I just say?" Like B-36. They're like, "What did you just say?" I was like, "Oops."
Of course, that'd be a great bluff too.
Oh gosh, I hadn't thought about that, but of course, alcohol had.
See, but no, okay, but here's the deal. You just mentioned that thing. I've played that. I don't think it's fair for a person to like in a hidden movement game to like bluff and pretend that I mean, because that comes across as just lying. You know, in a way, because it's like, okay, it's like, it's like if you're playing Fear Dracula, it's just like, it's like, God, I'm just stuck in Spain, and just like, and everyone's like, what? Oh, I shouldn't have said that. And then, of course, then they go to Spain, ha, I was in Italy the whole time. That's a BS move. It's just like, that's the whole thing is that you're removing the actual deduction and you're like, I don't know, because I played hidden movement games with that, and then people have like tried to pull crap like that, or like I've played Battlestar Galactica, and I've had people try to like go beyond the game and like just say dumb crap at the table just to like kind of throw people off, or like somebody mentioned like playing Spyfall and somebody trying to like look at the location card and like and look at the actual art of the card and like try to say something off of that to try to like oh well, it's if you weren't the spy, you'd know that whatever the shirt guy is red, right? And it's just like, dude, no, that isn't how you play the game. It's just like
Yeah, but they can
stuff like that.
backfire on them in Spyfall, though, because if they go after the right guy and he gives the right answer, they just told the spy where they're at. So it doesn't work, but unless you're asking the actual spy.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, it's just, but I always get really annoyed when people try to pull that crap. Just like, oh, well, yeah, it doesn't say you can't do it. I was like, well, I suppose it doesn't.
I guess,
but the way you're doing it is
mischievous, and games like that is kind of fun sometimes. But I guess maybe not. I don't know.
Depends on your group.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought it was fantastic. I'm gonna give it a big thumbs up. I want to play it again. And the thing I liked that I thought was really cool is it's kind of like 4 little mini search games, because when you cross the street, you get caught a lot, right? Like, it's hard to time your street crossings unless you're really skillful.
Crossing the streets just sucks. It's so stressful trying to figure out how you're going to cross that street.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, but that's like one of the most fun times like I just had with the game, where I was down in the lower left and I'm like running around in there trying to like bluff, and I did something that made them think I crossed the street, and then I didn't, and then I wish I had. It was like one of those cool, fun moments. That
I threw my hologram out so I could cross the street.
Oh yeah, the
go shoot
hologram
that! I'm running. That game stressed me out when I was the agent.
Really cool. But anyway, I thought it was pretty. I played a lot of those games, and I played Garibaldi, which is a bit of a long one, but it has those cool special powers in it. And I don't like Whitechapel because it doesn't have any special powers, and it just drags, in my opinion. And then Fury of Dracula is probably my favorite, but it's too long. And
yeah, Fury of Dracula stays like an hour too long.
I've heard Escape from Aliens in Outer Space. I don't know if anybody's played it, but I've heard that's...
Yeah, I have it. It's fun.
Yeah, that sounds really fun.
I love the artwork in that game so much.
It's like a real minimalistic kind of like...
Yeah, it's like, what if Andy Warhol did the graphic design for your game? That's what it looks like. It's very funny. It's good.
I've been enjoying Penny Press.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know if you've played Penny Press.
No.
I have not.
Oh, it's really fun. It's a cool worker placement game where you're trying to make a newspaper front page. So you're bidding using your workers, your journalists on stories, and then you have to kind of like in a Tetris way, take those and put them on your front cover page and then print it. It's interesting. It's cool. It's different. It's not
I thought the layout where you lay your articles out is pretty cool. Like, I don't know if any of you guys played Extra Blot, which is an old German newspaper game from Karl-Heinz Schmiel, the guy who made Die Macher. But it's impossible to find that game, so it's cool to see another newspaper, Extra Blot.
Oh.
Extra Blatt, B-L-A-T-T.
Is it as impossible to find as, say, some weird
not as
Viking
ATID?
ATID?
Not as impossible. I'm still looking for that for you, man.
I already looked it up for you tonight.
So the Penny Press is good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, when I saw the Tetris, you kind of put your articles on the front page thing. I definitely want to give it a try.
Yeah, it's interesting. I like when they introduce new styles like that, new mechanics and stuff. It's cool.
Lance, did you try Flick 'em Up yet?
What's the deal with Flick 'em Up?
I played
I hear a lot about Flick 'em Up.
It's massively overproduced. But it's a dexterity game. It's Wild West themed. So you kind of you use the bits, which are very nice and chunky, and you set up your little cowboy meeples, and and on your turn, you get to take like 2 actions because it goes like so each team has like a certain number of cowboys, like 6 cowboys, and so team 1 cowboy goes, and then team 2 cowboy 1 goes, and so you kind of go 1-1, 2-2 back and forth like that. And so when you on your turn, you get to take like 2 actions, and like usually you're either going to move, in which case you pick your meeple up and you put a disc and you can flick and you can head in a direction. But if you run into anything, then like the move is invalid, so you kind of have to make sure that you don't run into something else or anything like that, and so you can get them where you want to go, and then the other action most often is shooting, and in which case leave the meeple where it is, but then you take a little tiny gray disc and you put it next to the meeple within 1 disc space of it, and then you flick that, and then if you're trying to shoot the other cowboys or whatever, and you got to knock them down, and then you do a point of damage to them, and they have hit points and whatever. And the big thing I found playing it is that guys I can palm the basketball, so I have a big hand, and I have big fingers, and so like it's very difficult because one of the things they actually say in the rules, and I guess you didn't have to, is that you can't do a flick like this. You can't brace your thumb against your finger and flick like that. And I think it's so you can't like just do big power shots. I think that's the reason why. So they actually describe it as like you have to go like that. Every flick has to be pushing it forward like that. So it's like a little bit more control, but like less speed. Well, the problem is when you go like this, you're like knocking stuff down with your hand because you've got all these buildings and cactuses and hay bales and your meeples, and so it's like you have issues where you're trying to like get your finger around a meeple, and like because you can't knock anything down, you can't move anything, and so you can shoot. And I think that's the whole part of the game. It's like it's supposed to make it kind of difficult. You want to get your guy out in the open to take a shot, but then you also want to get them back behind cover, before they go. And it's got a campaign mode where it's like, the opening one is like basically this big shootout, and then it goes on, and then it's like a jailbreak and a bank robbery and all this stuff. And there's rules for like having your cowboy go into a building and they're in the building and they can shoot out of the building, but they can't see as much because like the buildings have like this little gap in the middle, and you have to shoot through the gap to hit anything. So then you're protected. You can't get shot really easily, but you can have a situation where you can't really shoot anything then with your guy when he's in the house, as if nobody is standing basically in front of the house. There's like a rule where you can get a rifle, and then like you actually get this like kind of cool aiming diagram that you get to put around the bullet, and then it's like maybe like 2 inches long, but it guides the bullet so it doesn't it'll go in a straight line, so it's more accurate. So they've gone the extra route and like put a lot of cool things in, and it's a heck of a lot of fun. But I like the 3 or 4 of the campaign things, and then I got bored, and so then my daughter and I just started setting it up and just shooting each other, which is what's fun, instead of trying to play on like things where it's like, okay, you got to get over to this side of the map, and and it's just like it's way more fun just to start at either side of the town and like put the cactuses in the middle, which doesn't make any sense, and then just move your guys in there and shoot each other up. And for a flicking game, it's a heck of a lot of fun. It's kind of Wild West Catacombs,
It's like $100.
So and
it's $70 because it's
well,
overproduced.
It's like
the box is made out of
75 or
wood.
20.
The box is wooden, and it's got a painted wooden lid and big, giant, thick cardboard standees and wooden tokens out the yin yang. So
It sounds like
MSRP
it might be
$70.
underpriced.
MSRP $70, but I mean, there's a lot of thick token board pieces as well. But I mean, it's not a deep game at all, but it's a fun little dexterity game.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I don't regret buying it.
Yeah,
I don't regret having my
this-
Origins all taken up from me.
This sounds like one of those games that once it sells out, it will go for like twice as much.
Yeah.
And then maybe it'll get reprinted like 5 years from now.
Well, they're already working on an expansion.
Well, I heard Well, yeah, I heard somewhere that like the company Pretzel Games or whatever, they're going to
This is their
only
business model.
produce games in this route. They're only going to make games in these wooden boxes, and they're going to overproduce the heck out of them. So, which fine. I mean, that's their plan, and then that's cool. But I don't know, whatever.
Carrying 3 copies around.
I'm not upset
Origins
that.
sucked.
I mean, it's a Z-Man game. It looks like, right? Is it Z-Man printing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
pretzel.
I think he's just doing the. Yeah, I mean, I'm not upset that I picked up the game at all. I mean, I'm glad that I got it early. Like I got it, because my mule picked it up for me at Origins, and
good job,
and so then. Yeah. So and so I paid full price for it. But I mean, that's cool. I mean, I don't mind the fact that I paid full price for it at all.
It's not coming out till August.
It's a lot of fun. So
Full price, Lance.
Well,
Come
yeah.
on. What a plebe.
yeah.
Now the demo version
Yeah,
we had
yes.
at Origins was awesome. Did you see it, Travis?
The what? Yeah,
The
yeah.
demo, because the demo version was giant. So I mean, the cowboys were like that big.
I do a thing where at cons I walk by Zev and I try to do an impersonation of him, and it's really terrible, and then he just laughs because my impersonation is just so bad. Because he's got like that raspy New Yorker kind of voice, and then he does this thing where he kind of smiles. He's like, like he does, and he kind of bobs his head a little bit.
Every year at GenCon, I track him down and I see him on Wednesday, because and I go and I ask him what's he reading, and then we talk a little bit of the game they're coming out, and every single year, and I shouldn't say this because, well, who cares? And then I was like, oh well, I really want a copy of that, and he's like, well, his weird raspy way, oh, come back tomorrow and you can get them, and I was like, and I always like open my wallet, and I was like, I don't know, I got cash money right now. You want to just give them to me right now? He's like, okay. And I'm always glad that he does, because then I don't. It's one stop I don't have to make on Thursday. So I should actually see it. Is he got anything coming out worth mentioning at GenCon?
Any games?
Let's see. I was just on the page because it's being updated as we've been talking.
Should I just talk about this
Yeah, Joel. Yeah, Joel and I have to do our giant GenCon preview.
Well, wait till there's a little more in there, because there's a lot yet to come.
Well, no, yeah, we're running on it second week of July is what we're ballyhooing about. Both talking about, and this is. It's just not a lot that's exciting me so far this year. I don't know what to do.
I was the same way last year.
I mean, what's posted so far is smaller than what the Origins preview was, and it's going to be a hell of a lot bigger. So there's still a chance for a lot of stuff to show up.
Maybe we'll be
I
pleasantly
suppose.
surprised if there's something. A lot of people are probably like E3, so they're keeping everything hush hush until they do a conference or something. I don't know. It's my second GenCon, so I don't really know how things work there. But
I'm ready to drop my $20 on Codename. I mean, it's a simple game, but I don't care. It's fun.
Is it the only Vlade Chatville game that doesn't have 2 rule books?
I don't know. Does Pictomania have 2 rule books? That's probably the second one.
Codenames is awesome, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a blast.
How come that didn't get created before?
Yeah, I know. It's so simple. There's not that much to it, but it's a ton of fun.
Well, Scott, you were talking about it from the Gathering, right? You said you played it.
He brought a prototype. He brought 4 prototypes to the Gathering, and they were in play the entire time. That's a mega hit. I don't see many games that get played that much at the Gathering these days, but that was solid play, constant.
It's a game I think could make a jump to mainstream if somebody got a hold of it. It's that simple.
Maybe, but it's still got a little bit of rulesiness to it. Not big deal, but it's not let's just play with the cards. You have to set up a grid.
Yeah,
And there's a lot of downtime, honestly. Right?
it can be.
Yeah, I mean it's not a negative because it's a really fun downtime. But when you're on the opposite side, you're just like you're waiting. You know.
It makes me think of Taboo a little bit, but with you giving clues.
Did it have a timer? Did you add a timer to it, or is it
No,
just...
there was no timer. But
Okay.
but yeah, you can get people that'll AP it up a little bit. I actually watched that happen to a couple of people, but it's more fun if you just throw something out there and let it whirl. And the funnier you are, the more fun it is. So
You know what?
I think it's too easy to avoid the assassin, though. I think he needs more assassins in it. But that's just me.
You know what game we played? We played this on the launch of our Kickstarter. A guy over at the Yellow booth.
Was it Grabbins?
No, I usually wait until your wife's in town to play that. Come on. If you're just going to let me open the door and walk through it like that. By the way,
Like your wife does for me?
Tell her I'm sorry I didn't text her back last night at 1 a.m. I fell asleep. Anyway, we were we played Dungeon Fighter for the first time. I'd never played that, and Nick hates things like that. And then he was like, "Well, I mean, I guess we can play it again." And then we played it like 9 times in a row. It was fun. That's a cute little game.
I still haven't tried it.
It's fun. It's hard. It's very hard. Like we made it to the final boss like 3 of the handful of games we played, and got kind of close on one of them, but most of the time not even remotely close. Have you guys played? I take it you guys have played Dungeon Fighter before?
I watched it played.
Have you played it, Lance?
I haven't played it.
Lance, have you played?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you take time away from chastising me about my wife to ask me a question about board games?
Listen, you were making fun of my boyfriend, Larry, that was on earlier, and I didn't appreciate that. Have you played that with your daughter? I bet your daughter would like that game.
Yeah, we've played it.
It's cute. It's tough. It's actually
You're cute.
tough. I don't know.
You're tough.
Are you reading your?
You don't know.
Are you reading your screenplay that you're going to submit to HBO for Game of Thrones season 6?
Oh God.
Oh, I don't even want to go down there.
Flashback showing Stannis and Ned Stark in high school.
I tried Pingo Pingo at Origins, and that's a game that's fun to play once, but I wouldn't want to own it, and I don't have a need to play it again.
That's from Yellow?
Yeah, it's from Yellow. It's got a rubber dart gun. It's a plastic gun, muzzle-loaded dart, and you have targets set around your play area, and there's a soundtrack playing that is going to have daytime music and nighttime music, and
That sounds like
basically you're playing slapjack with the game wrapped around it. And so you're flipping up cards if they're good, you're trying to slap it, grab the card for points. If you slap the wrong thing, you lose a life. But then you'll have challenge cards that come up, and you have to get out of your seat, go touch a thing, go sit in your seat, pull out the gun, shoot something. It was fun once, but you would destroy your copy of the game after about 3 or 4 plays. It's stupid fun, but
Yeah.
I would.
It sounds familiar. I looked it up. It's a re-implementation of a game that came out in 2002.
Yeah, and the gun's bad because like the rubber darts just slip in the end. It's not near as good as a Nerf gun. If you move the gun too fast, the dart just
Falls
flings out the end of it,
Yeah.
and so that part kind of chokes. But it was fun once. So, and it's got Yellow's nice art and everything, so it looks really good until you tear it apart.
Have you guys played Welcome to the Dungeon?
Yeah, I picked that up at Origins.
I don't know. I mean, it's interesting, but it doesn't really feel like very much of a game.
It's an okay little filler. I don't find it as great as a lot of people seem to think it or say it is. I don't want to say they think it's great and it's not, but it just it's fun enough to kill some time, but it's not great in my opinion.
I have the Dungeon
having a
of Management,
conversation.
but I haven't tried it yet. Has anybody played Deep Sea Adventure yet?
No.
No. We're getting another 200 copies So, importing.
Oh, are these the games you brought over from Japan?
Yeah. That game is really awesome.
Yeah.
I think I've talked about it on here before, but I don't know if I did or not.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm repeating myself, but it's kind of semi-cooperative, where you're trying not to all drown, but you want other people to drown. You're diving down this chain. It's kind of a roll and move. You roll your dice, you move your character, and you're either going down into the depths to get treasure, or you're going up. Once you start going up, you can't turn back. Right? So once you're going in a specific direction, you have to keep going back up. And every treasure you pick up lowers your die roll by 1 pip. So, and the die only rolls like a 1, 2, or 3, I believe. So you could basically be picking treasure. You roll 2 dice, and it's 1, 2, or 3. So the farthest you could go could be 6, but if you're carrying 3 treasures, you're only going 3. But that's very unlikely, right? So a lot of times when you're carrying a lot of treasure, you're moving like 1 space or none sometimes, and you're trying to get back up before the air runs out. And the air is a shared resource amongst all the players. So, and for every extra treasure I'm carrying, I use an extra point of air. So it eats up. So if someone's carrying a lot of treasure and they start moving, they're eating up the air. Like, everybody just like, what? You're trying to get back to the submarine with your treasure before the air runs out.
I liked that
It's
mechanic.
just kind of fun.
It was in Adventures, I think. One of the Adventures.
Yeah, I think it's kind of that. Yeah, it's very possible that it's in that. It's just that, but that's all it is. There's nothing more to it than that. And there's 3 rounds in the game, and all the treasures that don't make it back to the surface get put in a stack at the bottom of the trail, and that only counts as 1 treasure, and it could be just a huge stack of points. So you're tempted to go deeper, but as soon as someone starts turning back, they start using the air, and it's just a cool. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know if I've seen that in a game before, except like the Adventures, where you're all kind of.
Well,
as soon as someone starts going back up to the surface, the air starts ticking down. So.
There was Dive, Dive, or Die, I think.
Dive, Dive, or Die.
Yeah, it's a game. It sounds pretty close to what you're saying. I think it was called Dive, Dive, or Die.
Checking it out.
Dark, Darker, Darkest?
No, it's an older game. It's about divers and stuff.
Dive, Dive, or Diver, or Die was about divers?
I've never heard of Dive, Dive, or Die.
Yeah.
It almost looks the same. Maybe it is.
Wait a minute.
But there's event cards, so that's different. But
the cover looks like what you're describing. People going down after it.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah. That's a pretty old game though.
But all the Oink games are very like kind of cool. Like this little tiny. I think I've got one here.
Oh, look at this guy.
What?
With his stuff.
Showing off?
Yeah.
Can I show off a little bit?
He's like, let me just move all this money out of the way real quick.
Yeah, I've just got too much money. Street Kings. A racing game without dice.
They have that cool minimalistic
Finally.
design, right?
Yeah,
Cool.
I want to get those, but my wife has officially banned me making any new monetary acquisitions. So I'm
You're not allowed to
completely
acquire
relegated
money.
to booth trades now.
Yeah.
Well, Kickstarters are rewards.
Yeah. I haven't kickstarted anything in a while, to be honest. I think Tricurion might be the last thing that I kickstarted.
I missed that and I'm mad.
Get a hold of them. I'm sure they'll let you pre-order.
Has anybody played the Board Game Geek game?
I played it. I really had not a lot to do with that game.
No.
Candy Weber, the designer, came up to me at one BGG Con. She's like, I made a game, and I'm like, I played it, and I'm like, oh, it's pretty fun. It's like a little set collecting game. And then it kind of took off on its own. Like she went and got it published through Game Salute, and it just got fulfilled. Like last week.
Game Salute. The Kickstarter went up in 2003, and it just got fulfilled last week.
Yeah. Wasn't quite that.
Well, we didn't have any problems getting our game fulfilled, so I don't know. I think a lot of those other games, there may be other issues involved.
I think the craziest thing I saw with them was that guy who made the Wizard of Oz game.
Oh gosh, that was a nightmare.
Yeah,
don't even. Oh man.
What do you do in that situation, Scott, where like someone is issuing like a public indictment against someone else in the community like that? Like
we don't do anything.
You just let it go unless it gets too inflammatory?
I can't be the police.
I meant like on BG.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to do. We basically let it sit there. I don't know. We run into this a lot, right? Like, where's the line of moderation or not, where you're attacking somebody, where you're attacking a company, in this case. It's always the hardest thing, and I take myself out of it. Like, there's a whole group of guys that do this job, because I'm terrible at it. Like, it just wrecks my.
Is Octavian the leader of that charge?
Yeah, that's his job.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate because he gets a lot of heat for doing basically the job that I don't want to do. You know.
He is the proverbial messenger.
Right. You know, we have straightforward rules, and there's lots of times when it's like right on the line of whether or not it's question. You know, and we don't really delete anything except for like spam or like blatant bigotry or like violent pictures or pornography. Like those are the things that just get outright deleted.
We actually had images erased during our first Kickstarter because I wasn't aware that you couldn't
embed a banner in there.
No. Incentivize people to go to the page and click and stuff.
That actually may have been. Yeah, I think I do remember that actually. And that's a questionable thing now. Like, it just happens so much now. Like I don't know what. To me now, I think it's not an issue.
Yeah. Well, I believe before, he said that there was no outright, like there was no necessary precedent for it, but like ethically, it was like within the confines of other.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to create a community-driven website, and then like if you go click a picture and get a thumb, you get a bonus thing out of it.
I put that post up, and then within like 3 hours, we had every image on the image hotness was from our gallery, and then everything got pulled down, and then 2 hours later, the new images we put up, 6 of them were back on the image hotness and I sent a message to everyone to let them know on Kickstarter not to do that. We were retracting that incentive, but that campaign just kind of went so well that we didn't really require much to get us back in the mix there.
Right.
Like I said, that was one of the times where I really tormented Chad. But a friend of mine pointed out to me, like,
I mean, here's the thing: we're on the cutting edge of all this like Kickstarter and crowdfunding stuff. So what's the right call in those situations? And it felt, I actually do remember this now, that it felt like manipulation, right? Like
sure, it's like stat manipulation. That wasn't the intention, but like I understood that after it was explained to me.
Right, and now I think I see it a lot. So should I stop it every time? Like I don't think it's possible.
Oh, cool. I'm gonna put this in an update tomorrow, though.
Hey, look at my screen.
My images. Hey, there's
I'm offering topless pictures of Larry from Spellforge. If you click on these images.
I thought you said Barry.
I would love to see a topless picture of Barry.
Nobody wants to see that.
Barry, come on! I walked up to you, and the first thing I wanted to do was hug you. I've never met you. The first thing I met Keith the very first time I met Keith. I met you where?
Game Preserve.
That's right. In the south side.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
that.
you were going down the shelf talking about games with a couple of guys.
Uh-oh, I just see, look at that, a Scoundrel Society banner ad.
There, you finally saw it.
Keith, you can preview the Tricerion, or pre-order.
Okay.
The Kickstarter page has the pre-order button.
Okay, cool, thanks. That
Have
was
you
one of
guys
my
checked out the GenCon preview yet?
Yeah, I've been reading it tonight as it's being updated.
Have you noticed that almost like maybe more than half the games are just preview only? They're not available to purchase.
Well, and the other half of them were
Already came
available
out?
at Origins or are already out.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, remember GenCon last year? How hot everything was? Like, oh my gosh, I gotta buy this. I gotta buy this. Now there's really not a lot to buy.
I just hope people just haven't got to him yet, because otherwise Gen Con's going to be kind of weak. But maybe
There's
Gen Con
200
is going to
games
be
on the list
weak
already.
due to the 3-week move. You know,
I think there's 200 more games. Yeah, it's 2 weeks earlier, 3 weeks earlier.
yeah, it's almost 3 weeks earlier.
Plus the dock strike. Travis, is the dock strike still an issue?
I mean, there's still like latent issues with it, but it's not as bad as it was. There was a point where like the time when Machikoro, I don't know if you remember, Machikoro got stuck for like 7 weeks or something.
Yeah, I think people were like really frustrated with that they couldn't buy it.
It's the we actually just paid to be bonded because we're doing definitely 4 games this year. Well, if this one fails, it won't be, but. We're actually, you know, Daniel Solis?
Yeah.
We're talking to Daniel Solis about picking up a couple of his games that he's already put out and doing a Kickstarter for 2 of the games at once.
What does it mean to pay to be bonded?
You pay for a bonding certificate, and it helps you in terms of dealing with I don't know the exact specifics of it, but it definitely helps you with customs. Like, they'll often not give you as hard of a time. You're less prone to.
It's more like a background check on your like business or something.
Yeah, it's sort of vetting that you have thus far proven that you are circulating goods into the country. I don't.
Not smuggling drugs.
Yeah, I mean, they still check your stuff, but for example, on our last shipment, we got held up for 3 weeks in customs, and they X-rayed us. And the reason they did it was someone in the factory forgot to put the material slip or whatever in the container. They put it inside one of the boxes, and so they had to open like 100 boxes to find this thing. And then they were pissed off at that point, so they X-rayed us. And then they charged us like $2,700 or something crazy, or maybe it was like $1,700 for the privilege. So that was their revenge. Nice wallet punch. You have to expect those kind of things, though. I mean, like whenever we figure out our budget on a campaign or on a project, we always pad stuff like that.
Overhand into weird shipping issues.
Yeah, well, the Heroes Wanted, the boats had to be diverted in the South Pacific because there was like a typhoon or something. So they had to dock for 3 days somewhere, and then like that, then we hit there was the strike, then we hit like customs issues. You can't do anything if you're stuck in customs. I mean, I am very persistent and tenacious when it comes to wanting to get my way, and I will just bother people until they either freak out or like cave in. And I called Long Beach and like every possible phone number. I've ended up finding out that I had a friend of a friend who worked for customs, an accountant for U.S. Customs Department, and I even got him to give me phone numbers, and they were like, listen, man, if you want to annoy us, you can keep asking, and then we'll just hold your stuff even longer. It was like she said they will hold it, but she worked for them, so it was almost like a threat of sorts whenever I was trying to push.
I imagine that you get that a lot, right?
Well, I think that they said that if Long Beach shut down for 1 day, the U.S. would lose $4 billion in terms of goods that would be frozen.
Wow.
In transit. So the dock workers actually had quite a bit of power with that strike, but they weren't really striking, they were just sort of lethargically working while they were going through the motions of the strike. So I believe, and then they started diverting stuff to Seattle and Vancouver, and neither of those ports could handle that load of stuff that was coming through. And you get your stuff, it goes through customs, then it goes to your freighting agent or whatever. We use this company called RIM. Then they have to go through everything. If it's been palletized or was depalletized, and customs has to be repalletized. Then it's put on trains or trucks. I mean, it's a really complicated thing. You pay someone to handle all that stuff for you, but still, it's really crazy, all the moving parts to get your stuff from point A to point B. We have a game on a boat right now. The expansion for Heroes Wanted's on the boat right now. But last time we got our games the day before GenCon, and they wouldn't even deliver them to us because the semi truck couldn't get into the neighborhood. So we had to go to a pharmacy parking lot and rendezvous with this dude and take 5 cars and literally make multiple trips.
Break down all the pallets.
It was 4,000 pounds of games. Yeah, we had to throw the pallets away. We had to cut all the shrink wrap off. It was 4,000 pounds of games that we had to move with cars. It took us hours and hours and hours to get it all sorted out. And of course, the guy just dropped the pallets and left. He signed.
Yeah,
it started raining too.
Oh my gosh.
It was seriously just miserable. But
so we have an issue because we don't have a shipping dock.
What's that?
We don't have a shipping dock.
Yeah.
So anything that gets delivered has to have a lift gate. So you get a truck that comes up without a lift gate, and you have to basically get into the truck and take everything out by hand. Just really sucks.
We had just today, we sent out our stuff to the UK and to Australia for backers over the last 2 days, and the amount of hoops you have to jump through is insane. You have to fill out 10 forms, and we had a really fantastic agent at the company that we use, and she just quit to go work somewhere else. And our new agent, which probably is going to be just as good, but they're taking over all these accounts. Holy crap, they just dropped all this stuff in our lap, and we didn't realize how complicated it was. They're like, hey, we need you to fill out this TTSA 3-4, this SLI form. We're going to get you the bill of lading, but make sure you check the zoning box there, or otherwise you might end up getting fined on the back end from the TT439. I mean, these are actual things the person was emailing me. I'm like,
That's a 27-3.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, you're going to have to walk me through this, buddy, because the last person we had took care of all this stuff. So it's crazy.
Being a publisher. Do you do this full time, Travis?
Yeah, this is my job. It's I don't make a tremendous amount of money doing it, but what we found this year is that going to conventions is basically how we can help pay for our salaries. So we were a little reluctant to do conventions, but we have not lost money at a convention yet. We've made money at every convention we've gone to. Lance, gee.
All right, I'll stop asking questions now.
No. It's been entertaining. I've just been scratching the cat here, and
I haven't had any geek talk in
listening
weeks. I'm dying.
I think Tricerian. Do you guys know about Tricerian? Did you do a review for that, Lance?
No, I took a look at it. It didn't wow me. If I remember correctly, I think they might have reached out to me. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But I remember when I took a look at it, wasn't. I'm sure it's a fine game, and I'm sure very entertaining. But it just didn't seem like something that I would be immediately interested in that time.
Did you ever?
It's weird. It's well, no, it's weird because I remember people will mention oh, hey, this Kickstarter just kind of got fulfilled, and I'm so horrible because it's I often think, did I play that? Did I do a review of that? I mean, I'm at the point where I don't remember if I've done. I'll have to see the game and see the board of it to look and actually go, okay, yeah, or I'll actually see that I did a video of it. But sometimes Kickstarters take a year and a half or 2 years for them to finally get published, and then it's I'll forgotten about it completely. It'll just be out of sight, out of mind. I'm a horrible human being, because I literally I have a box. have 2 boxes here that are just filled with prototypes. And the thing is that part of me wants to just like throw them away, you know, but like it seems like whenever I finally just like throw away a prototype, it's like a week later the designer will go, "Oh, hey, could you send that back to me?" And I'm just like, "Oh."
I think I can safely
And
say.
then you got, then I got.
If you want to chuck,
Go ahead.
If you want to chuck the one that I sent you, that's fine.
Oh, I used it for a toilet actually. Like the moment I got done with the video.
Use the deck of cards for a toilet.
No, I used the box.
I like your your
And,
description of the 2-player rules in the game that don't exist. That was a good one. Richard Ham is like, wait, I thought you said
I
they
played
can't
it 2-player.
In theory,
I played it with my daughter 2-player.
yeah. In theory, it shouldn't work because you're not incentivized to steal anything.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I had fun playing with my daughter. She really wanted to make her own superheroes, and I said, "Okay, fine, let's do this."
No, I was talking about Scoundrel
Oh no,
Society.
you're talking. Okay, no, I'm sorry. Scoundrel Society. Okay, but no, but you are. I am incentivized to steal from people because I want to ruin them and be mean. Why wouldn't you? Just for the sake of being mean.
I feel like Lance is taking a turn to the dark side in the last week.
I'm ridiculously tired. I have gotten about over the last like 6 days. I've gotten an average of 4 or 5 hours of sleep each evening. It's been ridiculous. Well, you know what? I've said 7 words in the last hour. So
And they've all been hateful.
well, and I can't trust you to like keep your mouth shut and not say anything to little children. So I gotta be here and be the eyes and ears
I
and
thought
pay
that was
attention to
a
what's
sex
going on.
robot. I didn't realize it was a
Sex robot.
Oh, I thought it was a sex robot. No, it was a 3-year-old girl. Well, you're a horrible human being.
It sounded like you know, like when
Like a child, you mean? Yeah.
Like,
You've been doing a lot of research into what sex robots sound like.
I
is this
like how
something you
Keith
read?
is judging me as he's pretending to kill himself with a gun right now.
I just play with my Nerf gun.
Luca, you haven't talked in a while. What's going on, man?
I'm a listener, man. I'm a big listener. I love listening, and
Was
I
your
get
li-
in there once in a
Was your
while.
life terrible during when that song, that "My name is Luca"?
I don't think I was born. What year was that? What year was that?
What?
Yeah, I know.
That'd be like early 90s music, I think, if I remember correctly.
I don't think it was that popular up here in Canada, I guess.
She's
No. What is popular up there in Canada?
Bryan Adams, Celine Dion.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, who was that? Who was that singer? That name was
What's
Luca
that-
singer.
That kid's name there, Bieber.
Yeah.
Suzanne Vega.
Susan Vega.
Suzanne
That's a good
Vega.
Luca, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
My name
I
is.
ran into the door again.
I live upstairs from you. Yes.
I like Tom's Diner.
Oh, don't
yeah.
get that in my head.
Susan Vega. Tom's Diner.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Scott, the banner ads are already working. We have one new backer.
Sweet.
Good, I can drop
Way
now,
to
right?
qualify that information, but I'm just going to say it's the banner ad.
Are you doing the tracking with the Google Analytics? Or you just,
We have a media girl that does that, and we have my partner Nick does that stuff. I don't mess with anything that has to do with numbers. I'm not allowed to have access to. Not that when I say not allowed, it means that my mind is not hardwired to care or comprehend numbers in a way. Like, essentially, my partner could just be robbing me blind, and I would have no clue.
Travis is the creative.
I'm the creative guy. I'm the charming creative guy, you know? That's who I am. Right, Nick? Or right, Lance?
Sure.
Hey,
Something horrible happened.
Lance, is that a Sirio guy?
What's
is he
up?
Dead? Is Sirio dead?
Stereo for L. There was the 2 things about that is that one, Martin says unless they die on screen, and he doesn't talk about the show. He's like, unless like he writes their death, and like says they're dead or something like that, then you never know. The possibility of them coming back is there. 2, there is a huge theory, and you can look it up, that Cyril Farrell is a faceless man, and he killed Marin Trant and took his face, and is, at least in the books, is pretending to be him. So, and then they've gone through like some evidence that points to the possibility and what have you. So, I guess it's been so long since he's been relevant. I'm sure he's dead. I mean,
they used him as a trigger of revenge. So I was just wondering, is he really dead? Right.
I would assume. I mean, at this point, since you haven't heard or seen anything really major from him.
Yeah.
The one from the Game of Thrones books that I want to see more than anybody is Howland Reed, who isn't really mentioned at all in the show, but in the books he's constantly mentioned, and he's the person alive that knows who Jon Snow's mother is, and he knows exactly what happened when.
Is that the Lord of Moat Cailin or whatever?
Yeah, he's of Deepwood Mott and all that stuff. He's the king of the frogmen.
Yeah, Jojen.
Yeah, Jojen and I can't think of the other. Yeah, he's there, and he and Ned Stark were the only people that walked away from the Battle of the Tower alive. Where they went and grabbed Lyanna Stark, who everybody says she had just given birth to Jon Snow and died during childbirth, and that big theory. And because obviously Ned Stark is dead, the idea is that Howland Reed is the last person alive, and Ned Stark was his best friend, and so there is a giant theory that actually has a little bit of credence to it, that because the people of the Neck, the Crannogmen, the Howland Reed's people, they're kind of short and stooped, and they are like masters of like being camouflaged, and they can hide, and they fight guerrilla tactics and warfare and stuff like that, and so that's why, and they use poison and all these things that are dishonorable. And one of the things about him is the way they describe him. A couple times they describe him as being like always like kind of dirty and dingy and whatever. But they've taken the descriptions of Howland and they've compared them to the descriptions people say of the High Sparrow, and they are very much alike. And so a very popular theory is that Reed is actually the High Sparrow, because nobody really knows what Howland Reed looks like. He hasn't been seen in decades. And so he actually is masquerading as the Lord of the High Septon of the Lord of the Seven or whatever. And since he pretty much hates the Lannisters, he's working to bring about their end in that way. Now, who knows if that theory is true, or if it comes to fruition, or what have you. But and who knows? I mean, Martin said that he will show up eventually. That's what he said about Howland Reed in one interview. But then again, everybody also said that. Everybody else said that. What was it? That he's hard at work to get the Winds of Winter done. Before the next series starts or whatever, and that's totally not true. He's hard at work writing, yes, but he's hard at work writing for 3 new shows that he's working with HBO taking. So yeah, I don't think we're gonna see the next book until at least 2017. You okay, bud? I don't think he's okay.
Good night, Luca.
All right. Yeah, good night, Luca. You witnessed the end of Aldi, apparently. He's like...
Is he okay, man? Scott,
how many fingers am I holding up?
Shit.
It sucks to be sick.
That's the worst. Coughing
Yeah, it does.
is the worst.
It's that cough that you just can't control.
No, it's like you cough a lot, and then your body sort of gets used to involuntarily coughing, so you'll start to cough because you're coughing so much.
I had to take antibiotics once because it started coughing and I couldn't stop. It was just wouldn't stop. I had to take antibiotics. Yeah.
I am noticing, Luca, one. Oh, no, hold on, Luca, before you go, I'm just going to say I'm going to compliment you on your choice comic book Saga behind you.
I love that. That's the only comic book I buy in issue form still.
Nice.
So compliment you on that, on the graphic novel behind you.
Awesome, thank you.
if you're reading Saga, you really should.
Agreed.
Yeah. Okay.
Haven't read it yet, but it's
Take care, Luca. We'll talk soon, and I'll see you at GenCon, okay?
All right, cool. I'll see you guys all at GenCon. Thanks. Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Take care. Nice
See you,
talking.
Luca.
to you.
Bye.
And we're down to the fateful four.
Plus Scott.
So did you see the horribleness that happened tonight?
No, what happened?
Somebody shot up a church in South Carolina and killed 9 people
What?
during a prayer
Is that
service.
really?
Yeah, hate crime. They walked in and yeah.
Yep. Boo.
That's awful.
Yeah, it is.
Awful.
I sincerely hope that person just does a favor of taking care of it themselves, so we don't have to go through the process of having a trial.
Yep.
Yeah,
You guys
just
see the Donald Trump press conference.
Does he have any clue anymore? I mean, I realize it's just for show, and he's just out there to just say his thing and make some money. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. I think he's just lost it completely at this point.
I would retort. I can't respond because I can't speak, but it's hilarious. It's hilarious.
Well, everything he does, he knows he has no shot, like 0.00001% chance of actually like anything coming of it. It's just a way to get his face out there, make a little get a little pub, and make a little money or whatever, and
Usually
just
threatens to run, and then it gets some publicity. But now he's actually running, right? So.
Well, he says he is, but I mean, that doesn't mean anything. I could say I'm running for president, doesn't mean anything. So.
Hello from Estonia.
It's.
It's 9 o'clock. Good morning. This is your early morning wake-up call.
It's John Renault. Hey, look, everybody! It's Jean Renault from The Professional. Here we go.
And I will never get that. But whatever.
No, all you gotta do is your picture on Facebook or whatever, or like when you don't have your camera on, it's just with the sunglasses on, you're kind of looking from the distance. You're Jean Renault from The Professional. There you go, right there. There he is.
Yeah. Okay.
I expect him to be telling Natalie Portman to take care of his plant.
Well, there are worse things in life you could be, I guess.
Yeah, like British.
Yeah. Well, he's a fantastic. Oh, you're number
American
one.
enough for you?
Yeah, shouldn't you be doing this? Isn't that what it is?
I miss
in your
Rhiannon.
screwed up country.
There we go.
Robin, did you like the comic book The Invisibles?
Yes, but it's crazy fucked up.
I love that comic book.
Just like British people.
You made me think of the cover of Bloody Hell in America.
Uh-huh. There you go. Yes, indeed. So there's actually history.
So why is this offensive? Why is this
Can I tell you?
offensive in
Okay, I'll tell
jolly
you.
old England?
It goes back to the.
No, I
time
asked the question for you not to answer me. That's what I asked you for. Go ahead.
It goes back to the time when England and France used to battle each other out all the time, and English longbowmen were better and more accurate because they had longbows than the French shortbowmen. And so whenever they caught a longbowman, the French would cut off their fingers.
Oh, they cut off his fingers, right? Yeah.
So he couldn't shoot his bow.
I think that's apocryphal. I really think that's like that sounds like it's made up.
Well, whatever. Why do you go like that?
Because it feels good.
It's the biggest thing.
I heard the reason people flip a bird is it's peace, love, dove. So it's like the peace, the components of the peace symbol, or the peace sign or whatever, the icon for peace.
That also sounds made up.
Lance, you are the biggest hater in the world.
Yeah, but it's not.
No,
That's
I'm
true.
not. I just don't.
I think you should just quit doing board game reviews and create your own drink called Haterade and make millions of dollars.
So, what have I missed talk on this week?
Lance is mad at me again.
Everybody's mad at you, Travis.
Travis got a new boyfriend. The usual.
A new one? You mean he's dumped everyone
Yeah,
else?
you should have been here. His new boyfriend's hot.
He was hunky. He looked like he could punch through. Like he definitely looks like he eats crowbars. That was an accurate.
Well, I'll say this. Larry was a very attractive man, and I mean that in all honesty. So if I was interested in men and he was interested in me, I can still very lucky.
Uh-oh. Somebody ever call Master Sean.
I was
What? I can't.
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
I just he was, if he seemed very positive, very sure of himself. He liked geeky things. He took care of himself. He was extremely intelligent and engaging. I'm sure whoever.
You said he's everything Travis isn't. What?
Yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense why Travis and him get along. Opposite, right?
There we go. Ouch.
I love you, Travis.
Do you?
Yeah.
Are you just saying that because I got you an exhibitor badge?
Yep.
Are you saying that because I got you an exhibitor badge and it took like 20 attempts?
An act of God, yeah.
Yeah, our girl's been kind of overwhelmed lately. I noticed tonight she didn't put anything on social media that she said she was going to for a project. Like we put up a gameplay video of me and Nick and a friend of ours. We have this guy who's kind of our principal playtester. His name is we call him Big Mac. That has been his nickname forever. And he laughs like a clown. Like he laughs like a terrifying clown. His real laugh is like really scary, and that's his real genuine laugh. So we put up some footage of us playing a game of Scoundrel Society, and interestingly enough, on the last play, I switched Nick something to try to make him lose the game, and then he and I both lost. So Brian won because we both had the highest amount of suspicion. So Big Mac won by default. That doesn't happen very often. It was interesting. For those of you who know about Scoundrel Society. Know and or care. I said know and or care because I know Lance knows about it, but he doesn't care about it.
He's back to reading again.
Well, has anybody found out what it is Lance is reading?
Well, I'm waiting for something interesting to be said, so then I'll Somebody let a whale out? What was that?
That was my sad kitty noise. Whenever someone's whining, I go.
No.
Every time
must be very proud of you.
I notice that whenever I talk, I always kind of stare at Barry's window, and I wait to see if he'll just give me this ever so slight smile of comedic approval every once in a while. Very, very slight.
Oh yeah, I look to see if Barry responds at this point. It's kind of like getting Clarence Thomas to talk in the Supreme Court. Pull it off. Then you're doing something right.
This comparison you could have come up with. It's trying.
I just read a big long. No, I mean, you research that. I mean, Clarence Thomas is one of our Supreme Court justices, and like him or not, who knows? But he is known for like basically complete and total silence, and he writes reams and reams of arguments for and against things, and he's kind of taken to task a little bit about his silence and his he doesn't really he hardly if ever says anything when the Supreme Court is in session. So there you go.
What the hell's going on with Aldi over there? Is he dying?
He's sick and he's joined us and he's hanging out. So have we had any questions? I apologize to our listeners, the 7 people that might be actually, or the 3 people that might be listening to us.
I'm trying to recover.
See if we anybody.
I may just have to bow out.
I just messing with you.
That's okay.
I'm sorry you're not feeling well, Scott.
Let's see, Paul.
I mean, I'm feeling a lot better than I was. I mean, I was basically bedridden.
Is it a respiratory infection?
It's the head cold. Like it's just in my head.
Yeah, but it's one of those that
Chris
the
Peach says
weeks after.
Chris Peach says these are more interesting when Travis Lance go back and forth on non-board game stuff. Comics I can live with. Paul Tompkins said Mexican immigrants are rapists. What?
No, that's
Where did
what
that come
I think
from?
he's saying somebody said
that. Go look at the Trump press conference, man. It's comedy.
Oh, okay, I got you. I was like, I know Travis says some horrible stuff, but even he wouldn't say that about
No, Trump said
Mexican
that.
immigrants.
No, you could say child.
Only when the immigrant was there.
Never.
I launched Savage Worlds. Is that good system? They've got a Kickstarter up at the moment for Savage Worlds Sixth Gun tie-in. Sixth Gun is a comic series by, is it Karen Brune or something like that? His name is something like that. It's a really good series. Set in a weird
Okay,
West.
my quick impression, my quick feeling about Savage Worlds. Savage Worlds will always get my appreciation to a certain degree due to the fact that one of my favorite RPG systems ever from FASA, way back, or FASA, or whatever you want to call it, from back in the day, was called Earth Dawn. And Earth Dawn was an amazing, rich and deep and thematic alternative fantasy world that it was just really great. And I could talk about it for hours, but when FASA died, I mean, basically who knows what happened. Somehow they took BattleTech, and it was like, you could print you could make a BattleTech book, and it was like a license to print money for a while there, but they somehow just ripped themselves apart by overextending themselves or something. I don't know the whole story, but there were 3 big things were BattleTech, Shadowrun, and Earth Dawn. And so when it died, Shadowrun kind of went off and got purchased by somebody. I forget who it was, and kept going. And Shadowrun's still a great. If you're gonna play Cyberpunk, you might as well play Shadowrun. It's the only thing worth playing, in my opinion. But Earth Dawn nobody got picked up Earth Dawn, and I had everything for Earth Dawn. I love the system. I played it a lot, and then Savage Worlds actually readopted it, but they did over into their system, and I appreciate the fact that they gave Earth Dawn a second life, and because they gave Earth Dawn a second life, it now exists again in the way that it should, in my opinion, exist. Which makes me happy, and if Savage Worlds hadn't done, I don't know if it would have been able to have this weird bridge where it stayed alive for a while. But that being said, I find the Savage World system to be extremely, it's like a more basic version of GURPS to me, and I don't like generic game systems. I always just think they're so much better when you actually try to take a game system and actually apply it to the genre, apply it to the theme, and actually make it for that, instead of like, we're going to make this system that you could take this and you could make superheroes with it, or you could take this and you could make spies with it, or you could take the, you know, and you know where I'm going with this. So, I'm not a huge fan. I know there are a lot of people out there that love it, and you know, for the exact same reasons why I don't like it, they love it. So, take that as you will.
Cool.
And I think they're the only reason. I think they've kept Deadlands alive too, which is another really good game world as well. Because Deadlands was great. It was a great idea, and we just mismanaged it. And I have no idea where it is now or what's being done with it. So.
Yeah, well, it's still out there. The guys who are doing the Kickstarter currently for the 6-gun thing, they're actually doing Deadlands. So they're taking bits of that, I guess, and adapting it to the comic.
Cool.
I do not remember the name of the company off the top of my head.
We've got to actually run. I don't know. We got to run another Boom Quest one of these days.
Yeah, we do.
It's just nobody can get together ever.
Yeah.
Well, whenever we try to like have one, it's just like, oh well, does this Friday work? And it's like it works for like 3 out of the 7 people. Yeah. And it's just like
maybe just trim it down to like 4.
Lance, you're like one of the only people I know that you subscribe to the same philosophy in life that I do, where it's, if I want to do all the things that I want to do, that means that I have to forego sleeping most of the time.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. I mean, when I get done with this, I'm going to have to go and there's like, I was looking at I've been watching a little bit of my video for Transylvania Curses and Traitors, and I'm watching that, and there's like a good 6 minutes of the gameplay that I don't like the lighting at all. I was messing with it, and I can't get it to be how I want. So when I get done with this, I'm gonna have to go and probably redo all of the gameplay again, if I'm still awake, and then because I want to get that out for those two, and then I've got another game here. It's a quick little dice game that I got to throw together, and get that out. Oh man, it's one of those things where it's like, and then this weekend, Father's Day and everything like that, but I'm going camping. I mean, like tomorrow is gonna stink because I got my softball game. I'm parade at this point, so I don't have softball tomorrow, which is horrible. But I mean, because I don't have softball, I'll have like all this extra time to actually be able to like get stuff done, because I got to go buy a bunch of groceries. 'Cause I'm going camping this weekend, and I'm gonna go witness a Wiccan wedding on the summer solstice, which I'm like, okay, this will be interesting. Yeah, a friend of mine that I work with, she's getting married to her warlock, and they're going to say their vows and what have you, and do their thing, which good for them. But then I can cross it off the bucket list, right? I've witnessed a Wiccan wedding, so there you go. And other weird news, my youngest brother is marrying his longtime girlfriend, and he's not very religious. And years ago, I went through the process of becoming a church pastor or whatever for the Universal Church of Life. And come September, I will be officiating my brother's wedding, and which I think will be cool. So,
God help him.
I can cross that off my list as well.
This is going to be a 7-hour ceremony.
It's going to be dogging forever because you can't shut up. It's so funny.
Hey Lance, I have a question for you. Do you ever review, like if you do a Kickstarter review, do you ever review the game a second time when the official release comes out?
Yeah, occasionally. Like this one, the Transylvania game. I'm redoing that one.
Do you want me to? I was going to give you one of the production. We got the press the production copies of Stuff a Legend, the one that your picture's in. I was going to give it to you at GenCon. Would you rather me mail it to you?
Just give it to me at GenCon, if you don't mind. I mean, it's
Okay.
just, I mean, if you wanted me to do a review of it between now and before GenCon, I would say I got one shot in 20 of it hitting the table. Me even playing
I don't
it.
care about that. I just want to get you your copy for doing the review. And since your card's in the game, it's pretty terrible to not give you.
Well, then send it to me. You have my address. Thank you very much.
Well, I know.
Put the Ninja Camp with it or whatever.
I get
it's one less thing I don't have to ship back.
No, that's the thing. I was going to say the Ninja Camp prototypes come in on Friday, but I won't be here because I'm going to be at Cool Mini or Not Expo this week, and I leave tomorrow. So I was going to send those to you on Monday, so I can send you the expansion if you want.
Just put it all together.
Cool Mini or Not Expo this weekend?
Yeah, I'll be there. We got invited.
Where's that at?
It's in Atlanta. It's like Marriott Marquis or something in Atlanta.
I'm still waiting on my Arcadia Quest Kickstarter.
Oh yeah, the first one.
Remember it came out in December.
Yeah, you never got.
Kind of one of those like weird, like I didn't answer the survey in the right way, and then I didn't pay for shipping, and I'm in this weird limbo, and I got I did the whole painted campaign.
Oh wow.
I don't know if I should air this publicly. But I'm a very frustrated Kickstarter customer.
I haven't
been out since December, and I don't have the game.
I know another podcaster who had a problem with a Cool Mini or Not Kickstarter where they didn't fill out the pledge manager correctly, and Cool Mini or Not ended up cancelling basically their entire pledge.
Okay.
So,
well, mine didn't get canceled. I paid for it, but I don't have a game.
Yeah, well, they paid for theirs as well, but they ended up having.
You want me to get it for you, Scott?
No. Here's the thing. Believe me, I'm tweaking the people who I feel are in the place to be able to handle this problem, and they're not. So it's weird. I feel like what's going on?
We were next to them at BGG-Con, and I got to be honest.
I feel like I'm just one of those weird fell through the cracks kind of edge cases.
Well, we were next to them at BGG-Con this last year, and the first thing I thought when we set up our booth, I was like, oh, God. And then they are so nice. Oh, my God. This guy, Raymond Rappaport, is like the nicest guy. They have been so generous to us. They did a 4-page spread on Heroes Wanted in their magazine. I think it's called like Ravager or something. Cool. Their first official podcast, they talked about it for like 30 minutes. They send people over to our booth if we're at the same con. They're so generous and nice. And they've extended an invitation down to this event twice no, we just met them in November. So this is the first time. They've asked us a bunch of times to come, and we said no at first, and then because it's a small con, it's only like a few hundred people, like 300 people or something. Yeah. So, but I know, like Eric Lang's be there, Rodney's going to be there, Marty will be there. Usually Tom goes, like a bunch of industry people go.
It's like a presser, right? Like they're showing off their games for the next year or something.
Yeah.
I remember. I've seen the coverage from it.
Yeah,
it looks pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, they have other exhibitors, but not very many. The exhibitors are more. It's just an opportunity to showcase things more so than it is an opportunity to actually sell stuff. So what we might end up, it might end up being a marketing expense, but I'm driving down there with the aforementioned friend Big Mac. Nick left for vacation today. He goes to that thing in Pennsylvania, Monster Mash, like the old school horror movie con. I don't know if you know about this. It's been going on for years and years and years. So him and his wife and his wife's parents all go to this con called Monster Mash. So he's out of town, so this is the first time I've ever gone to a con without my partner, so it's going to be interesting.
You'll do good.
Yeah, I mean it'll be good just this one I have a feeling it'll be relaxed and we'll actually get to hang out and play some games.
It looks like one of those cons that you just play the games and like chill, and it's not like high pressure.
Which we never usually do because now that we like I was saying, I don't know if you were on earlier, where people are actually coming up and submitting games to us, and we're trying to plan out our 2016, so we're moving more into slowly moving more into we're publishing other people's games. Like we have a bunch of games in the works, but it's just so much easier to help take a project that's already developed and
Oh yeah.
put it together than it is.
Yeah, if you've already got all the wheels going, it's just easier to feed something into that machine, right?
Yeah, I mean, and if since we're doing this as both Nick and I are full time. Nick, I've been full time since the Kickstarter for the first year as one had launched, and we funded like pretty quickly. Nick just came on in March, so we have an obligation to try to keep our doors open, and part of that is considering other people's games. So we've got quite a few on our plate right now. The Daniel Solis is the one that I feel very confident we're going to bite with him. It's just a matter of we need to do some more development. Have you ever talked to him before? Have any of you guys ever talked to Daniel before?
Yep.
He's great. He really is top-notch, smart, kind, very, I don't, what's the word? He just has no sense of ego whatsoever. Like, I'm really glad. I just kind of got a wild hair up my ass one day, and I know he had 1 million games, and I was like, hey, are you interested in licensing any of your games? And he got back to me really quickly, and we've just kind of been talking ever since. So he's got some really cool little games, too. I mean, he's a prolific guy. I like him.
Yeah, didn't he have like a project where he was doing like 1 game a day or something?
Yeah, and he's
game a week or something like that.
Yeah, Robin, he does a lot of, he shares, because I'm not as active as you are online, he shares a lot of his like metrics and stuff online, right? Like his sales.
Yeah, absolutely. Sales. So he's actually got a blog, and I think I'll try and recall from memory. What happened was last year. So he does a lot of freelance work anyway, graphic design and stuff like that. And at the end of last year, or throughout the period of last year, he was evaluating if it would be possible for him to run a project, which he did in 2014 as a test, where every month basically he put out, or it's either every month or every 2 months, he put out a new game on print on demand, so on drive-through cards. And that was basically the project, to see if he could generate enough interest and income to survive financially for the year. Now, at the time, he still had some other projects going on, which was designed for role-playing games and some smaller games, stuff like that. So he had to fulfill those commitments as well. But the idea was basically to see if he could financially survive off of the print-on-demand if he was releasing a constant flow of games. And that was basically his business model.
Yeah, and he has since licensed, like, Kigi is, I think, has 4 different licenses in other countries, and Koipon. Have you guys played Koipon? That game is very good. That's one of the ones we're considering. That game is a very good game. I mean, like, it's got like a little minor issue, and then it's kind of difficult to teach people for the first time. But man, that is a great little card game. A really smart little card game.
Yeah, I played it, and I played Kigi. And Kigi, of course, was launched at the Tokyo Games Expo a couple of weeks back, and did really well. Sold out.
Yeah, it's good. We're looking at that one too, but I think that it needs some development because the gameplay is very obvious. Like you just play branches and score the most points that you can. So we've actually made some development progress with taking the commission cards and kind of doing more interesting things with them, and it's working out pretty neat. Lance, are we losing you, buddy?
No, I'm right here.
So yeah, Lance, I'll send you that stuff. I'm gonna send you Ninja Camp. I'm so sorry about the slow turnaround on that. We have a different graphic designer for this, and he's not as quick as our normal guy. So
you are seriously apologizing for nothing. So don't worry about it.
I want you to. Can you have your daughter in the video?
For Ninja Camp, if she likes it, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a kid's game. I mean, it's definitely a family game. We put some artwork up for that. I don't know if you guys have looked at it. It's pretty cool. Jackie Davis did the artwork for it. It looks really nice. I'm very pleased with how it looks.
Oh, Jackie Davis.
Am I pronouncing
I'm being facetious. I'm having some fun with you. All right, boys, we are winding down, and be in charge of Scott Alden's like deathly illness. So,
I gotta get some work done, man. We're probably like 2 weeks away from redesign.
The whole site?
Just the game pages. Just the game pages. I'm not kidding. We launched the beta.
You know what I watched?
We launched the beta to our admins today.
And what was the
You know what I want you to
The
go back.
response has got a lot of issues. We're still, but admins are like the high end user, right? So they're not. Some of their issues are not legit because they're looking for the old
Scott,
admin stuff.
this is if there's anything that I want you to back. No, if there's any one thing that I want you to bring back, I want you to bring back the 3 random pictures that are on the bottom of the page.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about those. The footer.
I used to love that, and that would like I would see something weird, and I go, "What is that?" And that alone like let me know about games that were just like that I didn't even know existed.
Yeah.
So
I think I took it away because when I calculated the cost of it, like 50 million page views times whatever the bandwidth was on that, like it just, I was like, what? I gotta take those away. But that was
but you have like briefcases of money behind you. You can afford it, right?
Yeah.
Here, no, okay.
No,
Well,
I
once
remember
again,
that actually. I thought that was pretty. So back in the day, Google Ads would they basically encouraged you to kind of blend their ads into your content. And I believe one of their guys said, like, if you put this type of ad bar underneath the pictures, people might click on the ad bar thinking it's related to the picture. Like, that was their whole scheme back then. Like, to try to trick people into clicking. I don't know if you remember that back in the day. Remember the Google text ads?
Yeah, I do.
You haven't seen them in a long time, right? Like, there's hardly any text ads anymore. But they had this like little ad that looked like a menu bar, and so they you can put some content in here and then put this menu bar under it. Like, give it a try. Anyway, yeah, that was a cool feature.
Right,
I don't know. I get it. Yeah. It's an exploration device, right?
Well, yeah, it was just a cool little thing, and I liked it, and it made me happy.
I liked it too, actually. I forgot about it.
$3.9 million. That's what your website is worth.
Where are you getting
You
that?
telling me siteprice.org? They wouldn't steer me wrong.
Yeah, okay.
He's like, it's worth way more.
I wouldn't sell it for $3.9 million.
Would you sell it for $3.91 million?
I've worked on this thing for like 20 years. There's no way.
Oh, here. Before we go, Aldi, tell us a deep, dark secret about Board Game Geek and the history that you've never told anybody ever before.
I'm trying to think of something that's totally not going to get me in trouble.
Well, that's the whole point. You're supposed to tell us something that would get you in trouble.
Gosh, can't think of anything.
Well, I can think of tons of things I could ask, but I know you just say I'm not going to talk about.
So all the magazines,
you'd probably be offended.
The what?
Okay, go ahead. Well, I could think of tons of questions that I could ask you about that, like the stuff that's ballyhooed back and forth. But you'd either A, say you can't talk about that, and B, you might be offended. So I'm leaving it open air.
I'm not asking this as a publisher. I'm just curious, how does the hotness metric work? I won't tell anyone.
It's a deep, dark secret I will never reveal.
It moves in mysterious ways.
Yeah. What was the... I don't know. I can't really think of anything. What was your deep, dark ballyhoo, whatever that you have?
No, I'll mention it to you when I see you in person, or like some. Maybe when we go off air, I'll mention it. So there you go.
I don't know. I don't really have that much dark, dirty secrets.
Good.
So you actually have a thread on the forum with suggestions people can make for BGG. How much attention does that get from the mods?
From me?
No, generally from all of you. I guess from you, because at the end of the day, you take the final decision about
I
stuff.
look at all of them. I mean, there's like some guy. There's a guy on the site who's tracked every single suggestion ever made. Have you ever seen that geek list?
No, but it sounds cool.
It's amazing.
And is there one single thing that gets mentioned more than anything else as a request?
Is there one thing that gets mentioned more than anything else? Nothing's coming to mind, but of course I'm not. When I'm in the middle of redesign, we were basically using. We did a survey about 4 months ago.
Yeah,
that had
I remember this.
like 4,000 or 5,000 responses, and we're using that as kind of a starting point.
What is that?
You know, that's guiding the design, but obviously we're going to be making modifications.
All right.
Because we can't get everything right there.
Oh, keep the.
Yeah.
Oh,
so it's geek
well,
list.
okay. Well,
if you want to look at a geek list, it's loading. It takes forever to load because it's got a million things. 49264. It's called the BGG Suggestions Index.
Interesting. All right, boys. Thank you for joining us. You know, and for the listeners, both live, thank you very much. You are near and dear to my heart. I think we should have a weekly Alaboom once, and just have like, and have the steadfast listeners on. We should do that sometime. Like, I know we've had Paul on before, but then get Chris in here and stuff like that. I think that'd be fun. The guys that actually tune in and listen to us blather, and let them have a chance to.
I just started talking to Chris on Facebook, kind of on the, I think it was like on the Kickstarter group or something like that. And he seems like a really nice guy. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, and then for the people who listen to this, thank you very much for that as well. Barry, anything you want to plug? Anything coming up?
No, like I said, we got Cacao coming out this week, you know, and that giveaway for XCOM. That's about it.
Cool. And where can they find you?
YouTube, Gateway Gamer.
Very good. My man from Estonia, you got any new movies coming out, Mr. Renault?
Nope, but we put a podcast up last Monday with Ignacy and myself and Paul Grogan from Gaming Wolves Vids talking about replayability in games. That's on the website whoseturnisidanyway.com. And I'm on Twitter at RMB.
Awesome. Very good.
Thank you.
Aldi, you got anything cool coming out? Anything new? Anything interesting?
Well, I mean, the GenCon preview went up, and that's probably going to get pretty popular next coming weeks.
Yep, it always does.
More fleshed out.
So. And we should go and back Scoundrel Society immediately from Action Phase Game that
already,
Travis is putting together.
Hey, I've heard a rumor about that the guy who did the voiceover for the video doesn't sound very English.
He has a horrible English accent.
Yeah.
That's what I've been told.
Someone said that to me. They're like,
sounds like
this horrible fake English accent. And I'm like, this guy is a real Brit. What are you talking about?
All right. Well, good night, boys.
Were you happy with the final product, Robin?
Sleep well.
Good night, Lance. I love you with all my heart.
I do as well, my brother. So I will talk to you soon.
Yep, I'll talk to you soon.